Chapter 363. Not long after, Qin Feiyang followed behind the guard and walked into the meeting hall. The burly man and Ming family lord immediately looked at him with a hint of curiosity in their eyes. Meng Tong's gaze fell directly on Wolf King, who was on Qin Feiyang's shoulder. "You can leave." The burly man's eyes flashed, and he waved his hand at the guard. The guard bowed and left. The burly man said, "Qin Feiyang, tell this commander. Where is the captain of the first team now?" "Dead." Qin Feiyang said. "What?" The burly man's body trembled. Meng Tong and Ming family lord also frowned. The burly man asked, "How did he die?" Wolf King said, "Do you still need to ask? Of course we killed him." Ming family lord was furious and shouted, "Are you not afraid of death? How dare you kill people of my Ming family?" Qin Feiyang said indifferently, "There is no one in this world who is not afraid of death, but who told them to die? You are really arrogant." Meng family lord slammed the table in front of him, and the table shattered. "Family lord, something bad has happened." At this moment, another guard ran in anxiously, but when he saw Qin Feiyang here, he couldn't help but be stunned. Meng family lord frowned. "What's the matter?" This subordinate just received the news. The captain of the first team, manager Ming of the restaurant, 10 guards, and more than a dozen waiters were all killed. The guard said, "Manager Ming is also dead?" Ming family lord was stunned and said angrily, "Tell me, who did it?" The guard pointed at Qin Feiyang and said, "It's them." "Damn it." The Ming family lord was furious. Meng Tong's face was also covered in frost. She looked at Qin Feiyang and said coldly, "You are provoking me." Wolf King said disdainfully, "Little Miss Ming, you think too highly of yourself. Why can't we touch a small Ming family?" "The tiny Ming family?" Meng Tong immediately jumped up as if his tail had been stepped on. He said sternly, "Father, quickly kill them." Qin Feiyang looked at her with disgust and said, "Ming family lord, I didn't come to White Fox City to make enemies with your Ming family." The Ming family lord said in a deep voice, "Is there any point in saying this now? It is indeed meaningless. Then I'll be straightforward. Give me the coordinates of Purple Sun Tribe or Sky Thunder City, and I will leave White Fox City immediately." Qin Feiyang said. The three of them looked at each other with a trace of surprise in their eyes. The burly man asked, "Why do you want the coordinates of Purple Sun Tribe and Sky Thunder Pool?" Qin Feiyang said, "That has nothing to do with you. Haha, you are now in the city lord's mansion. Whether you can come out alive or not depends on our wishes. So, you'd better be honest and answer whatever I ask you." The burly man let out a hearty laugh as he shouted in a sinister voice, "Then I'm sorry. I am afraid of everything, but I am not afraid of threats. But I don't know if you are afraid or not." Qin Feiyang said with a smile. "What do you mean?" The three of them frowned. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "Assassinating the alchemists in this area will cause public outrage." "How do you know?" Meng Tong was surprised. The burly man's face changed. He immediately looked at Meng Tong and shouted, "Young miss, don't talk nonsense." After being scolded by the burly man, Meng Tong suddenly came to her senses and cursed in her heart. Why was she so stupid? By asking this question, wasn't it equivalent to admitting that there was such a thing in disguise? "Don't hide it. I can't be bothered with your despicable business. As long as you give me the coordinates, I will pretend that I have never been to White Fox City." Qin Feiyang said, "Do we look like idiots to you? I thought you were a talent and wanted to spare your life to serve the Ming family, but now it seems that I have no choice but to silence you." "Commander, do it!" Ming family lord shouted. Boom! The burly man's body trembled and his aura burst out. He was a 9-star battle monarch. "Go to hell, you little bastard." With a roar, his large fan-like hand slapped towards Qin Feiyang's head with an astonishing astral wind. "You will pay for this." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed coldly. He activated the return formula and slapped with his palm without dodging. Bang! The two palms collided, and both of them retreated at the same time. How is this possible? Meng family lord and Meng Tong were stunned. The guard commander was a 9-star battle monarch. Qin Feiyang's aura was only that of a 4-star battle monarch. How could he block the guard commander's full-strength palm strike? Furthermore, the two of them were evenly matched. The reason for that was because both of their arms were lacerated. The guard commander was the most shocked. He could clearly feel that the force of his palm strike was completely reflected back. In other words, the other party did not use any strength at all. He was just borrowing the force of his attack. What kind of battle technique was that? Was there such a battle technique in the world? I'd like to try again. He stepped on the ground, stopped his body, and rushed toward Qin Feiyang again. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed fiercely, and he also rushed forward. The two of them raised their other hand at the same time and slapped each other. The situation from before reappeared. Sure enough, he's borrowing the force of his attack. The burly man's heart trembled. But then, a sneer appeared on his face as he stared at Qin Feiyang and said, "My Meng family has alchemists. We have as many healing pills as we want. Do you have any?" He took out a healing pill and waved it in front of Qin Feiyang as if he was showing off. Then, he threw it into his mouth. Qin Feiyang was stunned. Wolf King and the pangolin also looked at each other. How could he show off an ordinary healing pill in front of a top-grade alchemist? Was this person's head kicked by a donkey? What a joke. However, Qin Feiyang did not say anything. He took out a healing pill with 2 veins and threw it into his mouth at lightning speed. It was so fast that even the Ming family lord could not see it. The injuries on both of his arms began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. The Ming family lord and the other two were still wondering what kind of pill Qin Feiyang had taken. But when they saw the situation, they turned pale with fright. What kind of pill did he take? How could his recovery speed be so fast? Clang! Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and Chang Shui appeared out of thin air. He grabbed it in his hand and pounced on the commander of the guards. This was the advantage of high-quality healing pills. The speed of recovery was faster than the commander of the guards. He could seize the opportunity and quickly counterattack before the commander of the guards could make a move. Seeing this, the commander of the guards instinctively took a step back with a trace of panic in his eyes. But then, his face twisted. He was a 9-star battle king. How could he be afraid of a 4-star battle king? His pride did not allow him to retreat, let alone be afraid. Family lord, don't make a move. Kill. Without turning his head, he growled at the Meng family's patriarch, and a white beast shadow appeared behind him. That was a snow mountain ape? It had 2 heads and 4 bell-sized eyes that flickered with a terrifying, ferocious light. As soon as the battle soul appeared, it beat its chest and stomped its feet. With an extremely terrifying, ferocious aura, it pounced on Qin Feiyang. However, Qin Feiyang turned a blind eye to it. How dare you activate your battle soul in front of me? Are you looking for trouble? Wolf King chuckled. His whole body emitted a golden light, and a golden beast shadow appeared out of thin air. Boom! With a loud bang, the entire conference hall collapsed. The battle soul of the commander of the guards was directly swallowed by the golden beast shadow. At the same time, Qin Feiyang's murderous aura was monstrous. He stabbed the lower abdomen of the commander of the guards. Then, he disappeared without a trace in an instant. The conference hall was built with a kind of black stone bricks. For a moment, countless gravel flew in all directions, smashing deep pits on the ground, and a loud rumbling sound was heard. Dust filled the air, and nothing could be seen. And in the loud noise, there was a painful scream that echoed endlessly. That was the scream of the commander of the guards. Hearing the scream, the Meng family lord's expression changed abruptly. He protected Meng Tong by his side and continuously attacked, shattering the falling stone bricks one after another. A moment later, he finally found the commander of the guards. However, at this moment, the commander of the guards had already been smashed beyond recognition by the falling stone bricks. Even his body was about to turn into a pile of mud. His breathing and heartbeat had also stopped. He had already died. Damn bastard! The Meng family lord was furious. The aura of the war emperor erupted. The battle chi was like a tide, sweeping in all directions. The collapsed hall was instantly reduced to ashes. Following closely, with a wave of his hand, a gust of wind rose, and the billowing dust and smoke surged into the sky. This place became clear all of a sudden. However, there was no trace of Qin Feiyang. The Meng family lord scanned his surroundings, but didn't even see a ghost. He immediately roared, "Little bastard, get out here! What's going on?" The great council hall actually collapsed? Could it be that it's Qin Feiyang's masterpiece again? When the guards heard the news, they ran over from all directions, their faces full of shock and bewilderment. Meng Tong looked at the guards and asked, "Have you seen Qin Feiyang?" "No." Everyone shook their heads. Bastard! How did he disappear in the blink of an eye? The father and daughter's faces were as gloomy as water. Not only did he kill the commander of the guards, but he also tore down the great council hall. To the Meng family, this was simply a great humiliation. "I'll give you half an hour to find them. Otherwise, all of you will die," the Meng family lord shouted, his killing intent soaring into the sky. "Yes, let's go." The guards' bodies and minds trembled as they immediately began to search. Inside the castle, the pangolin asked, "Qin Feiyang, what do we do now?" The Meng family was completely enraged. There was no way they could get the coordinates. "What are you afraid of? Let's find a chance to go out and kill all the Ming family's minions." Wolf King's eyes flashed with a fierce light. "I'm not afraid. I'm worried that I won't be able to get the coordinates. Brother Wolf, you have to know that Qin Feiyang only has 5 years. If we don't return in 5 years, the Black Fury poison will act up. At that time, even the gods won't be able to save him." The pangolin said, "The pangolin is right. Although 5 years is a long time, if we don't have the coordinates, we won't be able to reach the Purple Sun Tribe or Sky Thunder City, let alone find the flame of heavenly thunder." Fatso, who was organizing the Chinkuan bag, interrupted. Chapter 364. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and smiled. "Actually, you don't have to worry about me. Boss, don't be too relaxed. If you really kick the bucket, who will Fat Lord follow in the future? Fat Lord still wants to be the Imperial General of the Great Qin Empire." Fatso said, "Imperial General?" The pangolin widened its eyes and said in surprise, "Qin Feiyang, are you from the Imperial capital?" Wolf King stared at it unkindly and said, "Little follower, if you want to live, you have to understand one thing. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask." "That's right. The more you know, the worse it will be for you." Fatso also realized that he had let it slip. The pangolin shrunk its neck, but its eyes were filled with thoughts. Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at Fatso and said unhappily, "If I don't let you be the Imperial General, will you want me to die?" "What are you talking about? We are brothers. If anyone wants to kill you, they will have to step over Fat Lord's corpse first." The fatty patted his chest, looking as if he was ready to risk his life, and made a solemn vow. "That's enough." Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes and said with a smile, "Let's go into seclusion for a while." "What? You're still going into seclusion?" Fatso, Wolf King, and the pangolin all looked at him in disbelief. This guy, is he really not worried at all? Even Lu Hong opened her eyes. There was a trace of worry in her bright eyes. "Even if we can't get the coordinates here, we can still go to other areas. The Forgotten Land is so big. I don't believe that only the Ming family knows the coordinates of the Purple Sun Tribe and Sky Thunder City." Qin Feiyang said with a smile. Seeing that Fatso and the others still wanted to say something, he waved his hand and said, "Cut the crap. Go into seclusion." Then, he walked to the iron box and began to draw the 4th stroke of the battle formula. Although he had won the last few battles, he still felt that it was very strenuous. This was especially true when he fought with the 9-star battle monarch. Every time he fought, both sides would suffer great losses. Therefore, he had to quickly break through another small realm. When he broke through to the 5-star Battle King realm, he would be able to crush a 9-star Battle King with the power of the Return character art. He might even be able to resist a 1-star Combat Emperor. Seeing this, Wolf King and Fatso didn't say anything else. Wolf King took out a Supreme Grade Battle Chi Pill and began to refine it. Fatso also continued to check the Cosmos bags. The pangolin looked on enviously. It eagerly approached Fatso. Before it could speak, Fatso said, Can't you see that Fat Lord is very busy? Go away. The pangolin's body stiffened, and it resentfully retreated. It rolled its eyes and moved closer to Wolf King. Brother Wolf, look. No matter what, this king is still your little brother. If there are benefits, shouldn't you think of this king? You must have a lot of battle chi pills. Can you give this king some? It licked its face and smiled obsequiously. Wolf King glanced at it and said, Look at yourself. Do you look like a little brother? The pangolin nodded repeatedly and said, Yes, yes, yes. This king was wrong in the past. This king will definitely listen to you in the future. Who would believe you? Wolf King snorted coldly. The pangolin vowed, Brother Wolf, you have to believe this king. This king has always been a man of his word. I will never go back on my words. SK. Wolf King's eyes were filled with disdain. However, he also took out a pile of battle chi pills from the cosmos bag around his neck. Take it. After all, you're following us now. I don't want you to drag us down. Wolf King said, Thank you, Brother Wolf. Brother Wolf, don't worry. I will work hard to cultivate. The pangolin looked at the battle chi pills with shining eyes. Outside, the entire White Fox City was in chaos. All the guards of the city lord's mansion were dispatched to search for Qin Fei Yong throughout the city. The city gates and city walls were also completely sealed off. They could only enter, not leave. But as the days passed, not even a shadow was seen, let alone a person. Did he disappear into thin air? It was impossible. He must be hiding somewhere. Later, the Meng family lord even issued a bounty. Anyone who reported would be rewarded with 1 million gold coins. If they could capture him alive and bring him to the city lord's mansion, not only would they be rewarded with 10 million gold coins, but they would also be rewarded with a red fireglass pill. As soon as the bounty was issued, everyone in the city went crazy. They went from house to house to look for Qin Fei Yong. A month later, a burly man wearing a black tiger pelt rushed back from outside the city, looking travel-worn. He immediately found the Meng family lord. In a hall, the Meng family lord looked at the burly man and asked, How is it? Have you found out? Yes. I've asked the people of the He family tribe. They said that Qin Fei Yong has an ability that allows him to disappear and reappear suddenly. It's because of this ability that the He family tribe can only watch him do evil, but it's said that he can't move when he disappears. The burly man said, What do you mean? The Meng family lord frowned. The burly man said, It means that he has been staying at the place where he disappeared. The Meng family lord was surprised. He stayed at the place where he disappeared, but no one could see or sense his aura. How could there be such a bizarre thing in the world? Family lord, no matter where he is hiding, at least we know that he is still in the Great Council Hall. The burly man said with a cold light in his eyes, That's right. As long as he is still in the Great Council Hall, he can't escape. Take your men and surround the Great Council Hall immediately. Don't let a fly go. As long as you can capture them, you will be the commander of the guards in the future, the Meng family lord said. Thank you, family lord. This subordinate will definitely capture them and live up to family lord's high expectations. The burly man was overjoyed. He bowed and thanked Meng family lord before turning around and leaving quickly. The collapsed Great Council Hall had been rebuilt. The burly man ran over with a group of guards. There were 50 to 60 of them. The burly man glanced at the Great Council Hall, waved his hand and shouted, Quickly surround the Great Council Hall. Don't let them escape. Yes. The group of guards responded. Some people surrounded the Great Council Hall. Some people entered the Great Council Hall. In short, there were people both inside and outside. A short guard came up to the burly man and said with a flattering smile, Brother Meng Chung, congratulations. Please take care of me in the future. Meng Chung shook his head and said, It's too early to congratulate me. Let's capture Qin Fei Yong first. With Brother Meng Chung personally taking action, won't it be a piece of cake? Isn't that right, everyone? The short guard shouted. Yes. The other guards responded loudly with fawning expressions on their faces. All right. Be serious. When I really become the commander, I definitely won't forget my brothers. Meng Chung chuckled. In his opinion, the position of the commander was already set in stone. There was no way he could run away from it. But at this moment, painful screams suddenly sounded in the great council hall. What happened? Let's go in and take a look. Meng Cheng's expression changed as he rushed into the great council hall. The guards also followed. However, as soon as they reached the door of the great council hall, they stopped in unison and looked inside in horror. They saw a wolf more than 7 meters tall with bulging muscles all over its body. It was like a killing machine as it crazily slaughtered the guards in the great council hall. Its snow-white fur had already been dyed blood red. It was Wolf King. As early as yesterday, it had already broken through to the 5-star Battle King realm. It was bored when it heard the commotion outside and became excited. It asked Qin Feiyong to send it out of the castle. With the cultivation of a 5-star Battle King and the superior battle art, Berserker's Fury, it now had the combat power of an 8-star Battle King. The strongest of these guards was only a 5-star Battle King. Most of them were 3-star and 4-star Battle Kings. Although some of them had battle arts, they were basically inferior battle arts. How could they be a match for Wolf King? Killing them was as easy as cutting vegetables. What a terrifying strength. The guards outside the great council hall revealed a look of horror in their eyes. There are so many of us. What are we afraid of? Hurry up and inform the patriarch. The rest of you, follow me in and stall it. As long as we catch it, Qin Feiyong will definitely not be able to escape. Meng Cheng shouted. The short guard immediately turned and ran away. Follow me. Meng Cheng roared and took the lead to rush into the great council hall. Battle aura surged. He used his battle art and charged toward Wolf King. He was a 7-star Battle King. With his inferior battle art, his strength was comparable to Wolf King's. However, his combat instincts were not as good as Wolf King's. Moreover, in the same realm, beasts were stronger than humans. This was because the bodies of beasts were naturally strong and powerful. However, this could not be generalized. Some people's physical bodies were no worse than those of ferocious beasts after being tempered. However, this was a minority. Meng Cheng was obviously not this kind of person. After a few rounds, he was hit by Wolf King's claws on his lower body. The intense pain caused by his balls being crushed almost made him faint. The Wolf King seized the opportunity and snapped his throat in one bite. Seeing this, the other guards no longer had the courage to continue fighting. They began to flee. Wolf King seemed to be possessed by the god of death. He killed one person with every step he took. Blood was everywhere as he killed his way out of the main hall. In less than 10 breaths, all the guards fell to the ground and their blood flowed like a river. Ow! After killing, it glanced at the corpses on the ground and howled at the sky. Whoosh! Qin Feiyong appeared out of thin air and came to the main hall. He brought Wolf King to the castle. The man and the wolf disappeared in less than 3 breaths. The Meng family's patriarch arrived with the short guard and landed outside the main hall. Looking at the bloody scene around him, the short guard was paralyzed on the spot. His face was pale. A pool of water flowed out from under his crotch. The smell of urine permeated the air. Crack! Meng family lord's eyes were red. His 10 fingers were tightly clenched together. These were all the elite disciples of the Meng family. However, in just a short while, all of them had died. Unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. Little beast, if you have the guts, come out and fight me fair and square. He roared at the sky, his anger soaring to the sky. However, no one responded to him at all. Call someone over immediately and bury the bodies. From now on, I will personally guard this place and wait for them to come out. After an unknown amount of time, the Meng family's patriarch took a deep breath and instructed the short guard. Then, he strode into the conference hall. However, he did not know that Qin Feiyong had already left the main hall. Chapter 365. Inside the castle, with the Meng family lord overseeing the meeting hall, the restless Wolf King could only continue to cultivate. Qin Feiyong's black demon poison also acted up again. The sudden sharp pain from his heart almost made him faint. Fortunately, he calculated the time and was prepared, so he took the transparent liquid in time. 5 days later, boom! His arm trembled, and at the same time, His aura erupted. His cultivation realm was like a volcanic eruption, climbing to the 5-star Battle King. Wolf King opened his eyes and asked, "Are you done copying?" "Yes." Qin Feiyang nodded. The 4th stroke of the battle formula was like a star, shining with a dazzling light. Wolf King urged, "Then hurry up and refine the Juku Yellow Dragon Pill." As long as they took the Juku Yellow Dragon Pill, their cultivation would soar. No, the level of the Nether Devil Flame is not high enough to refine a Juku Yellow Dragon Pill with 2 patterns. Qin Feiyang shook his head. The Juku Yellow Dragon Pill was the same as the Scarlet Fire-colored glass pill. Everyone could only take it once in their life. A Juku Yellow Dragon Pill with 1 pattern could only break through a small realm. So, if they took the Juku Yellow Dragon Pill now, it would be a waste of this opportunity. Wolf King said, "Then when do we have to return to the Holy Temple?" "There's no need to wait until then." Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and a light flashed across his eyes. "No need?" Wolf King was stunned and asked in surprise, "What do you mean?" Boom. At this moment, Fatso also broke through to the 3-star Battle King. He opened his eyes and chuckled. "Brother Wolf, why are you so stupid? Think about it carefully. Why did we come to the Forgotten Land this time?" Wolf King said angrily, "Nonsense. Of course it's for the Heavenly Thunder Flame." As soon as he finished speaking, Wolf King suddenly came to a realization and said with a sinister smile, "Brother understands. You want to use the Heavenly Thunder Flame to refine the Juku Yellow Dragon Pill?" "Yes. The Sacred Hall's alchemy fire is only at the 3rd grade, but Boss can refine a pill with 2 alchemy veins. The Heavenly Thunder Flame is a 6th grade pill fire. Who knows, it might be able to refine 3, 4, or even 5 pill veins. The power of the 9 Songs Yellow Dragon Pill will naturally increase exponentially, so there's no need to be in such a hurry." Fatso said, "That's right." Wolf King nodded repeatedly. A 9-melody Yellow Dragon Pill with 2 pill veins could increase one's cultivation by 2 minor realms, not to mention 3, 4, or 5. He couldn't help but feel excited just thinking about it. The pangolin looked at them in confusion and asked, Can you explain to this king what the 9 Tunes Yellow Dragon Pill is?" Wolf King smiled mysteriously and said, "It's a miraculous pill that will leave you dumbfounded. Can't you make it clear?" The pangolin was helpless. Fatso said disdainfully, "You're not one of us. Why should we tell you?" Hey, you can't say that. Yes, this king admits that there's still a gap between us, but now, we're at least grasshoppers on the same rope. Can't we trust each other more?" The pangolin said unhappily. "Only a ghost would believe you." Fatso and Wolf King glanced at it disdainfully at the same time. It wasn't so easy to integrate into this small team. If the pangolin didn't show sincerity, it would probably be impossible for a lifetime. Not to mention getting benefits from Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang glanced at the pangolin and asked, "Fatso, have you sorted out those Chinkuan bags?" "Yes." Fatso nodded. Wolf King said, "What treasures are there?" "There's no treasure, just a lot of medicinal herbs and gold coins." "Let's not talk about the other medicinal herbs. There are medicinal herbs for the potential pill, 9 Tunes Yellow Dragon Pill, and red fire-colored glass pill. There's a total of more than 1 billion gold coins. There's also a lot of weapons and pills, but their value isn't high." Fatso said. Wolf King said, "No battle arts?" "No." Fatso shook his head. Wolf King's eyes suddenly had a trace of disappointment. Qin Feiyang said, "There's still a long way to go. We can slowly think of a way to create battle arts in the future. The most important thing now is to work hard to improve our own strength." Fatso said, "Boss, since your talent is so good, why don't you create a few battle arts yourself?" "Create?" Qin Feiyang was stunned and said with a wry smile, "Creating battle arts requires the right time, place, and people. None of them can be missing. I've heard that some people can't create a battle art even after spending their whole life painstakingly. But some people suddenly comprehend a battle art. In short, creating battle arts can't be forced. It all depends on luck." Qin Feiyang said. Fatso and Wolf King looked at each other. They didn't expect that creating battle arts would be so difficult. "Okay, you guys continue to cultivate. I'll go out and meet the Ming family head. Qin Feiyang's mind stirred, and he disappeared without a trace. At the same time, outside the great council hall. Who is it? Qin Feiyang's appearance immediately alarmed the guards in front of the hall. It's you. Family head. Qin Feiyang has appeared. When they saw that it was Qin Feiyang, the few guards' faces changed and shouted loudly. Whoosh! The next moment, the Ming family's patriarch rushed out of the hall. You're finally willing to come out. Give me your life. His eyes were filled with bone-piercing killing intent. Wait. Qin Feiyang stretched out his hand and shouted. However, Ming family lord turned a deaf ear to him. His battle chi surged, and he angrily punched towards Qin Feiyang. Then I'll try to see if the current return technique can compete with the War Emperor. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a radiant light. He raised his big hand, and a golden light burst out from his palm. In an instant, the fist and the palm met. Boom! Immediately, a terrifying airwave, with the two as the center, rolled out in all directions. The surrounding guards were all blown away and blood spurted out of their mouths. At the same time, accompanied by a series of loud noises, the land within a radius of hundreds of meters was instantly razed to the ground. The great council hall also collapsed again. Puff! Qin Feiyang's face turned pale and blood kept spurting out of his mouth. He flew out like a meteorite. His arm was shattered on the spot. On the other hand, Ming family lord. Although he was also pushed back by the return technique, the injury on his arm was not very serious. It was just that his skin and flesh were cracked. Sure enough, no matter how heaven-defying the return technique was, in the face of overwhelming combat power, it couldn't defeat the strong. But even so, the power of the return technique made Qin Feiyang very satisfied. Because there was a huge gap between a combat emperor and a combat king. This gap was an insurmountable gap. It was very difficult to break through. But from the current situation, although he couldn't win, he wouldn't be instantly killed when facing a one-star combat emperor in the future. In the blink of an eye, accompanied by a bang, Qin Feiyang was like a meteorite, smashing into the ground dozens of meters away, creating a deep pit on the ground. His body seemed to be falling apart. Swish! Ming family lord swooped down and landed on top of the deep pit. He looked down at Qin Feiyang and said, If you have any last words, say it quickly. Last words? Qin Feiyang climbed up in a sorry state and kept vomiting blood. He raised his head and looked up. There was still no fear in his eyes. He said indifferently, You should know very well that you can't kill me. Ming family lord's face darkened. That's right. He really didn't have the slightest confidence. But if he didn't kill this person, the resentment in his heart would not disappear. I'll say it again. Give me the coordinates and I'll leave immediately. Otherwise, I'll fight to the death with the Ming family. Now you know what I'm capable of. If I really do that, you'll be the ones to suffer in the end. Qin Feiyang said, How dare you threaten me? Ming family lord's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He suddenly raised his big hand. Battle chi surged, and a huge golden hand appeared out of nowhere. Die! Following his roar, the big golden hand carried an astonishing ferocious aura and slapped toward Qin Feiyang. You asked for it. Don't blame me for being merciless. Qin Feiyang was also angry and disappeared without a trace. Boom! The big golden hand fell, and the ground shook violently. Cracks spread in all directions. Damn it! The head of the Ming family was seething with anger. Where is this little bastard hiding? Even a combat king couldn't do anything to him. If this continued, the Ming family would become a joke sooner or later. Inside the castle, Qin Feiyang consumed a regeneration pill. Then, his shattered technique started to slowly regenerate. Little Qinzi, don't talk nonsense with him. Just kill them all. Wolf King's eyes flashed with a ferocious light. Let me think about it first. Qin Feiyang lowered his head and pondered. A moment later, murderous intent flashed in his eyes. The first step is to find out the location of the trading pavilion's warehouse. The second step is to loot the warehouse. Don't leave a single hair behind. The third step is to assassinate the Ming family and leave White Fox City directly after that. But remember, Don't kill the innocent. Qin Feiyang said. Good, good, good. I've been waiting for you to say that. Wolf King shouted excitedly. Fatso was also excited. As for the pangolin, it was also eager to give it a try. Wolf King suddenly said, the warehouse is not a place where ordinary people can enter. Do you have any good ideas? Yes, let's find Meng Tong. Qin Feiyang said. Good idea. Wolf King's eyes lit up. Meng Tong is the pearl of the Meng family. As long as she leads the way, we can definitely sneak in. Don't let her lead the way. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Wolf King was puzzled. What do you mean? Fatso said. Boss, you mean to let someone replace Meng Tong? Wolf King said angrily. Can't you explain it all at once? Think about it. If Meng Tong leads the way, even if she is held hostage by us, she will definitely find a way to escape or obstruct us. At that time, if we are not careful, we will be doomed eternally. But if we imprison Meng Tong and make someone look like Meng Tong, won't we be able to deceive everyone? Fatso spoke frankly with assurance. His thoughts were almost the same as Qin Feiyang's. The pangolin was stunned and said with a flattering smile, Fat bro, awesome. Of course. Fatso smiled proudly. Wolf King said, capturing Meng Tong is not difficult, but who will replace her? Don't we have a ready-made person here? Fatso chuckled and turned to look at Lu Hong. Lu Hong opened her eyes and said helplessly, Damn Fatso, you are pushing me into the fire pit. Although she had been cultivating, she had heard the conversation between Qin Feiyang and the others. Fatso said with a smile, if you don't sacrifice the child, you won't get the wolf. Chapter 366. Fatso heard this. His fat face twitched and he lamented, a woman's heart is indeed the most vicious. Then, don't provoke her in the future. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. He looked at Lu Hong and said, how's your strength recovering? Lu Hong said, 2-star martial grandmaster. So fast. Qin Feiyang was surprised. But after thinking about it, he understood. Not only did she open the 3rd level of the door of potential, but she also had a chi-gathering pill with 2 patterns. In addition, her foundation was still there. Wolf King said, if I remember correctly, Meng Tong is only a 1-star martial grandmaster. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and said, it's just a small difference. It doesn't matter. Wolf King asked, then how do we get out now? Old Dog Meng had been guarding outside. Once they went out, they would definitely be attacked by him. Wait patiently. There will always be a chance. Qin Feiyang smiled, walked to the iron box, and continued to copy the 5th stroke. Outside, Meng family lord sat cross-legged beside the deep pit. He was determined to wait until the end. Even the matters in the city were handled here. Time passed day by day. Another month passed. Qin Feiyang was about to copy the 5th stroke of the battle formula. However, the head of the Ming family was still waiting outside. But on the 2nd day, the short guard hurriedly ran to Meng family lord, bowed and said, Family lord, the leaders of the 3 major tribes want to see you. What? Meng family lord suddenly stood up and said in surprise, why are they here? The short guard shook his head and said, I don't know. They didn't come earlier or later. Why did they come at this time? What do they want to do? Meng family lord was a little angry. Could it be that Qin Feiyang had already leaked the news of them assassinating the alchemist? Something's not right. Qin Feiyang had been trapped here all this time and had no chance to leak any information. The short guard asked, Master, are you going to meet him or not? Isn't that obvious? The 3 great leaders are here. How can I not see them? But if I leave, Qin Feiyang might take the opportunity to slip away. With your strength, you can't stop them. The Meng family lord was quite annoyed. The short guard pondered for a while and said, why don't we just let the old family head come out of seclusion? The old family head was Meng family lord's father and Meng Tong's grandfather. He was the only alchemist in this area. The Meng family lord shook his head and said, no, father is at the critical moment of breaking through to the 4-star combat emperor realm. We cannot disturb him. The short guard asked, then what should we do? The Meng family lord thought for a while and said, call them over. Yes. The short guard responded, turned around, and left quickly. After a while, he led the two men and the woman to the Ming family's patriarch. One of the two men was a black-haired old man. He was emaciated and wore a large black robe made of snakeskin. Deep in his sunken eye sockets, his dark eyes shone with a gloomy and cold luster. The other man was a big man, more than 8 feet tall. In the cold weather, his upper body was bare. His skin was dark. His muscles were bulging, filled with an explosive power. The woman was also quite old. Her back was hunched, and her old hand was holding a pitch-black walking stick with a dragon head. The aura of the three men was unfathomable. The Ming family lord went up to them and said with a smile, "Welcome, welcome. Please forgive me for not coming out to greet you." "Brother Ming, you're too polite. We are the ones who should be apologizing for our intrusion," Li Chia said. "We only hope that Brother Ming won't chase us away." The three of them laughed. "Don't say that. It's my honor to have the three of you here. Come, let's talk in the hall." The Ming family lord stepped aside and made a gesture of invitation. The great council hall had been rebuilt long ago. However, this was the second time it had been rebuilt. Every time he saw the great council hall, the anger in the Ming family lord's heart burned stronger. The three leaders smiled and looked at the deep pit next to them. A hint of suspicion flashed in their eyes. Then, they walked into the great council hall. The Ming family lord turned around and looked at the short guard. He ordered, "You stay here and watch. Call me as soon as they come out." "Yes." The short guard bowed and replied. The Ming family lord glanced at the deep pit, then turned around and walked into the great council hall. The short guard also stared at the deep pit. A month passed. A thick layer of snow had accumulated in the deep pit. The bottom of the pit was frozen. The castle was buried under the ice. The three leaders, Qin Feiyong, had stopped copying. He stood beside the iron box and fell into deep thought. "Boss," from the Ming family lord's tone, "the three leaders should be very strong. The tribe they belong to must be a big tribe in this area. Should we take this opportunity to tell them about the Ming family's assassination of the alchemist?" Fatso said. Qin Feiyong said, "I'm also thinking about this, but I don't think it's feasible." "Why?" Fatso was puzzled. "First, we don't know where we came from. The three leaders might not believe us. Second, even if they believe us, they won't blame the Ming family now. Because in this area, only the old leader of the Ming family is an alchemist. If this person dies, then no one will be able to refine pills. This is a situation that no one wants to see. Moreover, you heard it yourself. The old leader of the Ming family is about to break through to the 4-star combat emperor realm. If the three leaders aren't confident, they won't turn against the Ming family." Qin Feiyong expressed his worries. "That's true." Fatso nodded. He couldn't help but furrow his brows. "Let's find Meng Tong first. Let's talk about other things after we loot the warehouse." "Fatso, open your wings and go out to help," Qin Feiyong said. "Why, Fat Lord? It's too dangerous." "Fat Lord won't go." Fatso shook his head. His face began to turn pale. "Cut the crap." Qin Feiyong glared at him and grabbed Fatso's arm. In a flash, they appeared at the bottom of the deep pit. The layer of ice that buried the castle also shattered with a cracking sound. Seeing this, the short guard was shocked and hurriedly shouted, "Home!" But before he could shout, Qin Feiyong took a big stride forward and rushed out of the deep pit. He smashed his head with a palm strike. "Ah!" Cries of agony could be heard. "It's Qin Feiyong. Family head, hurry up, Qin Feiyong is coming out." When the guards outside the hall saw this situation, they immediately started to make a ruckus. "Hurry up," Qin Feiyong shouted to Fatso. "What a tough life," Fatso wailed. He immediately opened his wings and flew out of the deep pit. He grabbed Qin Feiyong and rushed into the sky. At the same time, he asked, "Where are we going?" "Anywhere," Qin Feiyong said. The most important thing now was to get rid of the Ming family lord's pursuit. Whoosh! Fatso glanced down and swooped toward a garden in front of him. There were hundreds of flowers in the garden. There were green trees, pavilions, and a clear stream. In addition, there were many maids and guards. But before he swooped down, Qin Feiyong took Fatso to the ancient castle again. Because they were too fast, the maids and guards did not notice them. Although it was slow, everything happened in the blink of an eye. Meng family lord rushed out of the hall and glanced at the deep pit. When he saw the body of the short guard, his face immediately darkened. He turned his head and looked at the guards at the door. He shouted coldly, "Where are they?" However, at this moment, the guards were all dumbstruck. The three leaders also walked out of the hall. Their eyes were full of confusion. "I'm sorry, I have some private matters to attend to." Meng family lord smiled apologetically at the three leaders. He looked at the guards and shouted, "Answer me, why are you still standing there?" The guards suddenly came back to their senses. They pointed to the sky and said in unison, "They flew up." Flew? Meng family lord was stunned. Then, he burned with anger and said coldly, "How dare you trick me? How dare you? How could the warlord fly?" Therefore, he thought that these guards were fooling him. "Family lord, we're not lying. They really flew up. There's a fatso with Qin Feiyang. He has a pair of black wings on his back." The guards hurriedly knelt on the ground and said in horror, "Wings?" Meng family lord was stunned. How could there be wings on a human's back? Whoosh! He flew into the sky and stood above the meeting hall, looking in all directions. However, he did not even find a shadow. Damn it! He cursed and looked down at the three leaders. A cold light flashed in the depths of his eyes. If these three people did not suddenly come to him, Qin Feiyang would not have been able to escape. If he did not know these three people very well, he would have suspected that they were here to help Qin Feiyang. Whoosh! He swooped down and landed in front of the hall. He shouted to the guards, "They must still be in the city lord's mansion. Immediately send down the order to lock down the city lord's mansion and strictly investigate." Yes. The guards responded respectfully and hurriedly left. The three leaders looked at each other. The old man in the snakeskin looked at Meng family lord and asked, "Brother Meng, what is Qin Feiyang capable of that makes you so helpless?" Qin Feiyang had long been a celebrity in White Fox City. Over the past 2 months, all the tribes within a radius of 100 miles had heard of his name. The three leaders' tribes were nearby, so they naturally knew of him. This time, they came to White Fox City to buy some pills. On the other hand, they wanted to meet this young man who had given the Meng family a headache. Unfortunately, they came out a step too late and did not see his face clearly. "The three of you don't know. This little bastard has a mysterious treasure that can hide. Every time we find him, he hides. Otherwise, I would have crippled him long ago. How could I let him be so arrogant until now?" Meng family lord said angrily. "Mysterious treasure?" A glint flashed across the eyes of the three leaders at the same time. "Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's go in. It's not easy for the three of you to come to White Fox City. Don't let these small things spoil your mood." Meng family lord took a deep breath and said, "Brother Meng is right. No matter how much an ant jumps, it will always be an ant. It will never be able to defeat an elephant." The burly man laughed. Hearing this, the Meng family's patriarch laughed. Indeed, how could this giant elephant of the Meng family be brought down by a few small ants? The four of them walked into the meeting hall while talking and laughing. Meanwhile, all the entrances of the city lord's mansion were guarded by guards. Chapter 367. About half an hour passed. Qin Feiyang appeared out of thin air beside a small tree in the garden. Then, he hid behind the small tree and observed the surroundings. This garden was right behind the great council hall. There were a few winding paths in the garden. Every 10 meters or so, there was a guard standing guard. At the end of the path, there was a hall. It was more than 10 meters tall and had a total of 3 floors. At the door, there were more than 10 guards standing side by side on both sides. They looked straight ahead as if they were guarding something. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, and he quietly sneaked behind a guard. He reached out his big hand, covered the guard's mouth, and entered the castle. Where is this? As soon as he entered the castle, the guard was dumbfounded. Qin Feiyang pushed him away and said indifferently, "If you don't want to die, tell me where Ming Tong lives." This voice, it's Qin Feiyang. The guard's body trembled and he quickly turned around. When he saw Qin Feiyang and Wolf King, his face immediately turned pale. Suddenly, he roared, "Someone, they're here." Qin Feiyong and the others were stunned. Was this person stupid? Didn't he know that he couldn't hear the commotion outside? That's right. He really didn't know. Fatso mocked, "Don't waste your energy. Even if you shout until your throat is hoarse, no one will hear you. Come and save me. Answer me if you hear me." The guard didn't believe it and shouted crazily. In the end, when he shouted himself hoarse and saw that no one came to save him, he finally believed it. He was also desperate. Plop. He knelt on the ground and begged, "Lords, I'm just a small fry. If you need anything, go to the patriarch. Don't make things difficult for me." Qin Feiyong said, "As long as you tell me where Meng Tong lives, I'll spare your life. You want to harm Miss? No, I can't tell you. Otherwise, even if you don't kill me, the patriarch will kill me." The guard shook his head. Qin Feiyong said, "Stubborn, white-eyed wolf, use your ultimate move." Hee. Wolf King laughed sinisterly. The guard's body and mind were trembling, and his face was filled with panic. The way Wolf King dealt with Steward Ming in that restaurant had long been known by everyone. Now, everyone in White Fox City knew that its so-called ultimate move, the so-called holy water, was a pool of urine. Seeing Wolf King walking towards him, the guard hurriedly said, "Wait, I'll talk. I'll tell you everything." Fatso shouted, "Then hurry up." The guard said, "Miss lives in the main hall in the garden." Fatso said, "Exact location." The guard's gaze trembled as he said, "Third floor, the room on the far left." Qin Feiyong asked, "What about your old family head?" "I don't know about that. Only the patriarch and the young miss know." "Lords, I've said everything that needs to be said. Can you let me go now?" The guard said, "All right, I'll let you go immediately." Fatso nodded. He walked in front of the guard, took out a dagger like lightning, and cut open the guard's throat. Let go? How was that possible? If he really let him go, this person would definitely go find the Ming family lord. Qin Feiyong took out a mirage form pill and changed into the guard's appearance, then put on the guard's beast skin. Following that, he then left the castle and walked towards the palace in a grand manner. "Ming-san, why aren't you guarding over there? What are you doing here?" The dozen or so guards guarding the door all looked at him in confusion. Qin Feiyong laughed. "The three great leaders are here. The patriarch asked me to come over and call the young miss over." One of the guards was puzzled. "What are they here for?" "I don't know either." Qin Feiyong shrugged his shoulders. The guard said, "All right, you can go in. Keep your voice down. Don't disturb the madam." "There's still a madam?" Qin Feiyong was secretly startled. He calmly walked into the main hall and went straight to the third floor. A moment later, he stopped in front of a door on the far left and gently knocked on the door. "Who is it?" A crisp voice could be heard coming from the inside. It was Meng Tong's voice. Qin Feiyong said, "Young miss, the patriarch wants you to go to the great council hall." Not long after, Meng Tong opened the door and walked out, asking, "Did father say why he wants me to go there?" "He didn't say." Qin Feiyong shook his head. "Then let's go." After Meng Tong closed the door, she walked towards the stairs. Qin Feiyong stepped behind her and covered her mouth with his hand. In the next moment, the two of them appeared in the castle. This sudden turn of events caused Meng Tong's expression to change. When Qin Feiyong let go of his hand, she immediately shouted, "You really have guts. You actually dare to coerce this young Mississippi," Fatso said. "Hurry up and put away your young miss airs for Fat Lord." Meng Tong raised her eyebrows and turned to look at Qin Feiyong and the others. "Why are you guys here?" At that moment, her face changed color. Although Qin Feiyong had changed his appearance and she did not recognize him, she recognized Wolf King and the pangolin at a glance. The Wolf King chuckled. "Welcome to hell." "Hell?" Meng Tong's face turned pale. She glanced around and could not help but sneer. This was obviously a secret room, and he called it hell? Did he think she was an idiot and easy to fool? However, when she noticed Meng San's corpse, her eyes suddenly trembled. She turned to look at Qin Feiyong and said sternly, "Who are you? Why are you pretending to be Meng San?" Fatso shook his head and said, "You are really stupid. Isn't it obvious who he is?" Meng Tong was surprised. Suddenly, She seemed to have thought of something. She hurriedly took 2 steps back and said in shock and anger, "You are Qin Feiyang." Qin Feiyang said, "Yes, I am Qin Feiyang. Tell me, where is your grandfather in seclusion?" "What? You still want to kill my grandfather? What a joke. With your little strength, my grandfather can kill all of you together. Let me give you a piece of advice. You'd better let me go immediately, or you will all die without a complete corpse." Meng Tong sneered, "You're already a prisoner, and you're still so arrogant?" Qin Feiyang and the others were stunned. "If you don't hit women, I will." Lu Hong got up and slapped her. But at this time, Qin Feiyang grabbed her wrist and shook his head. "Don't waste time," Fatso said. "Yes, as time goes by, it will arouse suspicion." At the same time, Fatso stretched out his hand like lightning and hit the back of Meng Tong's head with his palm like a blade. "How dare you?" Meng Tong shouted angrily and fought back. But she was only a 1-star martial grandmaster. How could she be Fatso's opponent? She was directly beaten to the ground and fainted. "Quickly change your clothes." Qin Feiyang urged Lu Hong and turned around. Fatso also turned around. But Wolf King and the pangolin stared straight at Lu Hong and Meng Tong. Qin Feiyang's face darkened and he said angrily, "Be careful, I'll dig out your eyeballs." The 2 beasts smiled embarrassedly and hurriedly turned to look elsewhere. Rustle. Behind them, there was the sound of clothes being taken off. Fatty stealthily turned his head and glanced over. But before he saw it, Qin Feiyang gave him a knock on the head. He glanced at the restless Wolf King and the pangolin and shouted, "Behave yourself, otherwise don't blame me for being rude." "TSK, I won't look. Isn't it just a woman? What's the big deal?" The 2 of them muttered disdainfully. "Damn, you don't want to look, but Fat Lord wants to see. I've lived for so long, but I've never seen a woman's white bones." Fatso pursed his lips and looked unhappy. This boss was really a hindrance. Enough. After a while, Lu Hong's voice sounded. Fatso turned around anxiously. He definitely couldn't see Lu Hong's body, but he could see Meng Tong's. However, when he looked at Meng Tong lying on the ground, his face suddenly fell. He saw that Meng Tong was wearing Lu Hong's clothes. The parts that should be covered were tightly covered. He looked up at Lu Hong, his eyes full of resentment. It seemed that he was blaming Lu Hong for putting clothes on Meng Tong. Seeing this, Lu Hong rolled her eyes and snorted. "I didn't expect you to be so perverted. It seems that I have to be more careful in the future." Yes, he is a pervert. We must guard against him. You can't be too perverted. Fat brother, don't you agree? Wolf King and the pangolin also took advantage of the situation. "Get lost." Fatso glared at them angrily. Funny. Qin Feiyang glanced at Fatso and the 2 beasts, turned to look at Lu Hong, looked up and down, and nodded with satisfaction. At this moment, Lu Hong and Meng Tong were like a pair of twins. It was impossible to tell who was who. Qin Feiyang said, "Be alert." Lu Hong nodded. Then Qin Feiyang took Lu Hong and left the castle. Then, Lu Hong walked in front. Qin Feiyang followed behind, and quickly walked out of the hall. "Greetings, Mississippi." The guards at the door bowed to salute. Lu Hong nodded and walked to the council hall opposite. When they came to a place where there was no one, they turned around and walked toward the gate of the city lord's mansion. Along the way, the 2 of them encountered wave after wave of guards, but no one dared to block the way. They left the city lord's mansion unimpeded and entered the trading pavilion opposite. A woman came up to greet them. It was the young woman who had served Qin Feiyang before. Lu Hong said coldly and arrogantly, "Take me to the warehouse." "Warehouse?" The young woman was stunned and didn't dare to ask more. She turned around and led the 2 of them upstairs. Without stopping, the 3 of them arrived at the 6th floor. "Greetings, Mississippi." A square-faced middle-aged man came up and bowed to Lu Hong. Lu Hong said, "Has anyone come to buy medicinal herbs recently?" "No." The middle-aged man shook his head and asked, "Miss, are you here for something?" The young woman said, "Miss wants to go to the warehouse." The middle-aged man was stunned and asked doubtfully, "I wonder why Miss is going to the warehouse?" Lu Hong shouted, "Do you need to ask what I want to do?" I don't dare. The middle-aged man hurriedly shook his head and said to the young woman, "You can go down and do your work?" "Yes." The young woman responded and went downstairs. "Please follow me, Mississippi." The middle-aged man smiled and called out, then turned and walked down the corridor on the right. So the warehouse is on the 6th floor, together with the VIP lounge. Qin Feiyang muttered to himself. The warehouse of the trading pavilion should have battle arts. Chapter 368. Following behind the middle-aged man, they walked to the end of the corridor and turned to the right. At that moment, Qin Feiyang saw an iron door in front of him. It was completely black and exuded a hard and heavy texture. In front of the iron door, there were 4 guards guarding it. Their auras were very strong. They were 4 9-star battle monarchs. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but be secretly speechless. If he hadn't thought of this method, it would be harder than ascending to the sky to sneak into the warehouse. "Greetings, Mississippi." When they saw Lu Hong, the 4 of them cupped their hands and bowed. The middle-aged man smiled and said, "Miss wants to go to the warehouse. Please open the door." He was the manager of the transaction pavilion, but the warehouse was not under his control. The 4 of them were stunned. One of the guards waved to the middle-aged man and Qin Feiyang. "You guys go down first." The middle-aged man nodded and didn't dare to stay any longer. He turned and strode away, but Qin Feiyang didn't move. He was worried about letting Lu Hong go in alone. Seeing that Qin Feiyang didn't move, the guard frowned and said, "Didn't you hear me tell you to go down?" Lu Hong frowned and scolded, "He's my personal guard. I didn't even say anything. What right do you have to order him?" "Personal guard?" The 4 of them looked at each other and couldn't help but have a trace of jealousy in their eyes. Being the personal guard of the young miss, they could usually get a lot of benefits. This person didn't look good and wasn't strong. How could he be so lucky to be chosen by the young miss? Lu Hong shouted, "Why aren't you opening the door? Do you want me to do it myself?" The guard hurriedly said, "I don't dare. But miss, you have to be gentle. Don't disturb the old master." "What?" Qin Feiyang's pupils constricted. Could it be that the old master was in seclusion in the warehouse? In that case, wasn't it equivalent to a sheep entering the tiger's den? Lu Hong was also shocked in her heart. If it was in the past, she would definitely be flustered when such a sudden change happened. But ever since she followed Qin Feiyang, she had experienced too many things. Her temperament had also unknowingly transformed. Not to mention strategizing, he was still able to remain calm in the face of danger. He panicked slightly, but he quickly calmed himself down. He said impatiently, "I know. I don't need you to remind me." This little master is really hard to serve. The 4 guards were filled with helplessness. One of them turned around, took out a token, and inserted it into the groove on the door. Immediately, the iron door opened silently. "Miss, please come in." Next, the 4 of them retreated to the side. Once an arrow is shot, it's hard to turn back. Even though they knew that the old master was in seclusion, the 2 of them could only brace themselves and walk in. Because if he didn't go in now, those 4 people would definitely be suspicious. After entering the warehouse, the guard closed the iron door. In the meantime, Qin Feiyang and Wang Chong also secretly became vigilant and scanned the storeroom. The warehouse was about 100 meters long. On the ground, pitch-black metal frames were neatly arranged. On the iron rack were all chinkuan bags, and they were all categorized. The medicinal pills were all placed on a metal rack. The medicinal ingredients were also uniformly placed on the other 3 iron racks. Moreover, on each chinkuan bag, there was a note. It was clearly written what was inside the chinkuan bag. Qin Feiyang and Wang Chong were stunned. The wealth here was simply beyond imagination. According to their preliminary estimate, there were at least hundreds of chinkuan bags. This was a huge treasure trove. After Lu Hong came back to her senses, she whispered, "Do we do it now?" That weak voice could only be heard by the 2 of them. "No, the old master is here. If we do it, we'll be finished. We have to think of a way to lure him out first." Qin Feiyang whispered. Lu Hong frowned. "I don't see him." In 100 meters, the 2 of them could see everything clearly. Indeed, they didn't see any trace of other people. But those 4 guards definitely wouldn't lie. Qin Feiyang carefully scanned the 4 walls again. Suddenly, his eyes locked on the wall on the right. There was a trace of a door there. It might be a secret door. The two of them walked in and took a look. It was really a secret door. The two of them whispered to each other for a while. Lu Hong reached out and knocked on the door. "Who is it?" An old voice came from inside, slightly hoarse. Lu Hong replied obediently, "Grandpa, it's me." "So it's this old man's little granddaughter." Hoarse laughter sounded. Soon, the secret door opened, and a white-haired old man walked out. He glanced at Qin Feiyang, then looked at Lu Hong and said with a smile, "What's the matter, Grandpa?" Lu Hong said, "Grandpa, Father asks you to go to the Great Council Hall." The old man frowned and asked doubtfully, "Did something happen?" "Yes." Lu Hong nodded. Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and said, "Old Patriarch, 2 months ago, a person called Qin Feiyang came to our White Fox City. He repeatedly went against our Ming family and even killed many of our Ming family's people." Qin Feiyang? The old man lowered his head and pondered for a moment. He frowned and said, "I've never heard of this person. We've never heard of him either. Originally, the Patriarch didn't want to disturb your seclusion, but that Qin Feiyang has the ability to come and go without a trace. For 2 whole months, he has been in the City Lord's mansion, but no one can find him, not even the Patriarch. So, we can only ask the old master to come out of seclusion." Qin Feiyang said indignantly, "How preposterous! How dare you cause trouble in my Ming family's territory?" The white-haired old man flew into a rage and said, "Let's go. Follow this old man to meet him." Lu Hong said, "Grandpa, I want to stay here and pick a few weapons for self-defense. It's good to stay here, so that when we fight, we won't accidentally hurt you." The white-haired old man smiled and looked at Qin Feiyang. He shouted, "Protect my good granddaughter well. If she loses a single strand of hair, this old man won't let you off easily." Qin Feiyang bowed and said, "I swear to protect Miss to the death." "Okay." The white-haired old man nodded and was about to leave, but he suddenly looked at Lu Hong. Qin Feiyang's eyelids twitched. Did he see through the clues? Lu Hong was also a little flustered, but she forced herself to be calm and asked in confusion, "What's wrong, Grandpa?" "Good granddaughter, when you came last time, weren't you only a 1-star martial arts grandmaster? How did you break through so quickly?" The white-haired old man said in surprise, "That's because your granddaughter is talented." "Why? Are you jealous?" Lu Hong smiled mischievously. "This old man is jealous of you? Little girl, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Do you know how powerful Grandpa is? But I can see that you're working hard to cultivate now. Continue to work hard. Don't let Grandpa down." The white-haired old man smiled. "Yes." Lu Hong nodded heavily. "So obedient?" The white-haired old man was stunned and said with a smile, "My good granddaughter has finally grown up and become sensible." After that, with a gratified smile, he turned around and landed in front of the iron door, pressing a black button beside it. The iron door suddenly opened. Then, the white-haired old man strode out. After the iron door closed, Qin Feiyang immediately gave Lu Hong a thumbs up and said with a smile, "With your current temperament, you're already able to take charge alone." Lu Hong blushed and said, "If you weren't by my side, I would have been exposed." She was not flattering him. With her current relationship with Qin Feiyang, there was no need to flatter him. This was the truth. With Qin Feiyang by her side, she felt particularly safe. Qin Feiyang smiled, glanced at the Chinkoan bag on the iron shelf, and said, "Hurry up and do it." At the same time, with a wave of his hand, he pulled Fatso and Wolf King out. As for the pangolin, he didn't trust it that much. If he took 1 or 2 Chinkoan bag for himself, wouldn't he lose a lot of money? Damn, so many. We're rich, we're rich. Looking at the Chinkoan bag one after another, Wolf King and Fatso seemed to have eaten stimulants, jumping up and down, crazily plundering. Qin Feiyang turned around and walked into the secret door. Inside was a cultivation room that was about 20 to 30 meters wide. On the left, there was another door. He walked in and saw that it was an alchemy room. Alchemy and cultivation were both here. This was simply the old man's personal treasury. Pill furnace. Suddenly, His eyes lit up as he walked to the pill furnace on the stone platform. However, upon closer inspection, a trace of disappointment crept onto his face. The pill furnace was completely black, without any treasure light. This meant that this was only a second-grade pill furnace. He then noticed that there was an iron box the size of an adult's palm next to the pill furnace. He opened the iron box, and a fist-sized flame immediately entered his line of sight. It was alchemy fire. This alchemy fire was no different from ordinary flames. It didn't seem to be of a high grade. However, every kind of alchemy fire was extremely rare. Therefore, he did not hesitate to take it into the castle. He also took away the pill furnace. Although the grade was the same as the bronze pill furnace, he could still keep it as a backup. Last time in the Sea of Despair, it was because he did not have a backup pill furnace that he wasted a few months of time. Otherwise, he would probably be a 7-star Battle King by now, or even an 8-star Battle King. Boss, we've looted everything. At this time, Fatso, Wolf King, and Lu Hong happily walked into the alchemy room. Qin Feiyong asked, "Are there any battle arts?" Lu Hong said, "I haven't had the time to check yet." Qin Feiyong pondered for a moment and said, "Lu Hong, take all the Qinkuan bag to the castle first." Lu Hong was slightly stunned and asked, "Don't we need to hide our identities?" Wolf King waved his claws and said indifferently, "All the treasures are in our hands. What's the point of hiding our identities?" "Yes, there's no need to hide anymore." Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed with a cold light, and he sent Lu Hong to the castle. Next, he took out a facial restoration pill, restored his original appearance, and threw away the beast skin coat on his body. "Let's go and loot the medicinal herbs on the second floor." Qin Feiyong waved his hand and strode out of the alchemy room. One had to know that there were many precious medicinal herbs on the second floor. For example, 9 Suns flower, fire ginseng, scarlet fire-colored glass pill. These were all wealth. Hehe. When Wolf King and Fatso heard this, they immediately chased after Qin Feiyong with a sinister smile. Walking to the iron door, Qin Feiyong pressed the button, and the iron door quickly opened. "Miss, you're out." The 4 guards turned to look. However, when they saw Qin Feiyong and Wolf King, their expressions changed drastically. "Why are you in the warehouse?" The 4 of them shouted, their auras exploding. "Are you pigs? Is there a need to ask? Of course we're here to rob." Chapter 369. Robbery. The 4 guards were shocked. Their gazes swept past the 2 men and the wolf and looked into the storeroom. When they saw the empty iron frame, the 4 of them felt as if they had been struck by lightning. Their bodies and minds trembled. "Attack!" Qin Feiyong shouted. Boom! Wolf King stood up and instantly turned into a muscular wolf. His 2 thick claws fiercely struck out. 2 guards were sent flying. Blood spurted from their mouths, and they fainted on the spot. "You deserve to die." The other 2 guards were furious. Battle Chi surged out like a torrent. Carrying an astonishing momentum, they rushed towards Wolf King. "Oomph!" Qin Feiyong coldly snorted. He took a step forward and clapped his hands in the air. The 2 Battle Chi changed sides and submerged the 2 guards. Cries of agony could be heard. What happened? Could it be that someone is causing trouble in the exchange pavilion? The commotion came from the storeroom. Everyone in the exchange pavilion was alarmed. Da-dee-da! Accompanied by a burst of hurried footsteps, one by one, the guards frantically ran towards the 6th floor. At the same time, the middle-aged man with a square face also rushed out of the VIP lounge with a bewildered look on his face and ran towards the warehouse. Suddenly, at the corner, 2 men and a wolf appeared in his line of sight. Qin Feiyong. The middle-aged man's gaze suddenly trembled. Why was he here? Could it be? He could not help but have a terrifying thought in his mind. "You're courting death," the middle-aged man roared. A pitch-black battle sword appeared behind his back. This was his battle soul. The battle sword pierced through the air. With an astonishing sharpness, it slashed towards the 2 men and the wolf. Scram! Qin Feiyong roared. Golden light burst out from his palm as he slapped towards the battle soul. Clang! The battle sword turned in the air. Like a graceful swan, It actually cut the middle-aged man's body into two halves. Blood splattered on the spot. What? The guards who rushed up first were all dumbfounded when they saw this scene. He was actually killed by his own battle soul? Was this a dream? Scram if you don't want to die, Wolf King shouted, his ferocious aura surging. The guards panicked. None of them dared to step forward. They kept retreating. 2 people and 1 wolf quickly rushed up to the second floor. City Lord's mansion. Inside the conference hall, the Meng family lord and the 3 leaders chatted happily. Whoosh! The white-haired old man suddenly appeared outside the gate. Father? The Meng family lord was stunned. He hurriedly stood up and asked, Father, have you made a breakthrough? The white-haired old man didn't answer. He looked at the 3 leaders and said with a faint smile, So you guys are here too? It's been many years since we last met. How have you been, old master? The 3 leaders also cupped their hands and smiled. At the same time, he was observing the white-haired old man's cultivation. If this person really broke through to the 4-star combat emperor, then the situation of the 3 major tribes would be even worse. He observed for a while. They all heaved a sigh of relief. The old master's cultivation was still at the 3-star combat emperor realm. He exchanged some pleasantries with the 3 leaders. The white-haired old man then turned to the Meng family lord and asked with a frown, What's the matter with Qin Feiyang? The Meng family lord was stunned and asked with a puzzled expression, Father, how did you know? The white-haired old man said, Tong told me. What's the matter with this girl? Didn't I tell you not to disturb the old master? The Meng family lord frowned. Why didn't you inform me when such a big thing happened? Now you're blaming Tong. Is this how you act as a family lord, a father, and a son? The white-haired old man shouted. The Meng family lord felt wronged and said, Father, I didn't want to disturb you because you were in seclusion. Seclusion is important, but the reputation of the Meng family is more important. Tell me, where is Qin Feiyang? As long as I come out of seclusion, his death will come. The white-haired old man's voice was stern, and his old face was full of contempt. During this period, he has been trapped outside, but I accidentally let him slip away. Now I don't know where he is hiding, but I can guarantee with my head that he is definitely still in the city lord's mansion. The Meng family lord said solemnly, Family lord, bad news. But at this moment, a guard ran into the meeting hall in a hurry. The Meng family lord shouted, What are you panicking for? Qin Feiyang and the others ransacked the warehouse of the trading pavilion and are now ransacking the medicinal herbs on the second floor. And many guards were killed by them. The guard shouted. What? The Meng family lord and the old master's expressions changed suddenly. The 3 chiefs looked at each other in disbelief. One had to know. The Meng family was the local tyrant of this area. Even the 3 tribes did not dare to go against the Meng family. But this Qin Feiyang actually ransacked the warehouse of the trading pavilion? Just who was this kid? How could he be so audacious? Most importantly, the warehouse of the trading pavilion was heavily guarded. They did not have the confidence to sneak in. So how did this person do it? I fell into a trap, damn it. The old master suddenly understood. The Meng Tong he saw before was not his biological granddaughter at all. Quickly go and see if Tong is in the boudoir. The old master hurriedly left a sentence, then rushed out of the hall and flew towards the trading pavilion. The 3 of you, please go ahead. The Meng family's patriarch cupped his hands and said to the 3 leaders. Then, he immediately rushed to the back garden. His heart was full of worry. We underestimated that kid. Yes, at first, I thought he was just a grasshopper who could not jump for long. But I did not expect him to do such an earth-shattering thing. Let's go. Let's go to the trading pavilion and see if he has 3 heads and 6 arms. The 3 chiefs' battle chi surged, turned into a stream of light, and quickly rushed out of the hall. At the same time, on the second floor of the trading pavilion. This is a robbery, don't move. Otherwise, you will end up like them. Wolf King stood in front of a few corpses, with his head held high and his chest out, looking majestically at the scene. The guards, staff, and guests were all gathered together, looking at him in horror. As for Qin Feiyang and Fatso, they were sweeping the medicinal herbs as if there was no one else around. Qin Feiyong, you will not have a good ending for doing this. It's not too late to turn back now. The young woman also stood in the crowd, looking at the medicinal herbs being taken by the two into their chinkuan bags. She was extremely anxious. Shut up. Don't think that I won't kill you just because you are a woman. If you piss me off, I will still cut you into pieces. Wolf King shouted. The young woman's pupils constricted, and she no longer dared to speak. After a few breaths of time, Fatso happily held a chinkuan bag and ran in front of Qin Feiyong, smiling. Boss, we can leave now. Qin Feiyong also held a chinkuan bag in his hand and glanced at the counter where the medicinal herbs were placed. After confirming that not a single one was left out, he threw the chinkuan bag to Fatso and then sent Fatso to the castle. Next, he walked to Wolf King's side, glanced at those people and said, "They are not from the Ming family. Hurry up and leave." All the guests and staff immediately ran downstairs in a panic. In the end, only the group of guards and the young woman were left. Qin Feiyong looked at the woman in surprise and said, "So you are also from the Ming family?" The young woman said coldly, "You won't be able to escape, surrender." "I really didn't think of escaping." Qin Feiyong smiled faintly. "Why are you spouting so much nonsense? Kill them all." Wolf King's ferocious nature erupted. Like a violent beast, he rushed towards the group of guards. At that moment, screams rang out one after another. The young woman was also so scared that she kept retreating, her face filled with fear. Soon, the guards all fell to the ground. Wolf King's eyes revealed a fierce light and was about to kill the young woman. "You deserve to die." But at this moment, a hoarse growl sounded out. Qin Feiyong and Wolf King turned around and saw a white-haired old man standing at the staircase on the second floor. Who else could he be but the old master? Wolf King hurriedly ran to Qin Feiyong's side. This old fellow was a 3-star war emperor. If he was too far away from Qin Feiyong, he would lose his life. Da. The old master walked into the hall step by step, glancing at the corpses all over the floor and the counter that had been looted. The killing intent in his eyes became even stronger. Whoosh! The 3 leaders also rushed up from the corridor. When they saw this scene, their hearts were set off by stormy waves. Entering the hall, the 3 of them looked at Qin Feiyong and Wolf King. 5-star war emperor? They were stunned. With such little strength, they dared to go against the Ming family? Seeing the 3 leaders, Qin Feiyong was not surprised at all and said indifferently, "Are you here to help the Ming family?" "Help?" The 3 of them were stunned. The burly man shook his head and said, "We're just here to join in the fun." Then the 3 of them retreated to a corner and watched coldly. "How do you want to die?" At this moment, the old master suddenly raised his head, staring at the man and wolf, and said coldly. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, "I'm afraid we won't die today. As long as this old man comes out of seclusion, you won't have a chance to live. If you know what's good for you, immediately hand over the treasures in the warehouse. I can still consider leaving your corpses intact." The old master said. Wolf King sneered and said, "You want us to spit out the things in our pockets? Do you think it's possible?" "Well, you asked for it." The old master's eyes were filled with murderous intent, and a terrifying aura suddenly erupted. Thump! At this moment, the Ming family lord ran up anxiously and said in shock and anger, "Father, Tong is missing." "What?" The old master's body trembled, and he immediately shouted at Qin Feiyong, "Did you kill her?" Qin Feiyong said, "No, she's fine now, but if you dare to do it, it's hard to say." The old master said in a deep voice, "Let her go. Leave the treasures, and this old man will let you leave White Fox City." Qin Feiyong was surprised. He didn't expect this old man to care so much about Ming Tong. "Let her go, there's no problem. Anyway, she's just a small character. But you have to give me the coordinates of Sky Thunder City or Purple Sun Tribe. As for the treasures, don't even think about it." Qin Feiyong said. Stubborn. The old master was furious. He actually dared to threaten him? Boom. The pressure of a 3-star combat emperor erupted in an instant. Immediately, a man and a wolf were imprisoned. At the same time. Chapter 370. Although she was a woman, she was very ambitious. As long as she killed Qin Feiyang, it would be a great merit. When the time came, she would be the manager of the trading pavilion. There was even a possibility that she would be favored by the old family head and would have a meteoric rise in the future. Normally, she would not dare to make a move, because her strength was not as strong as Qin Feiyang. But now, Qin Feiyang was imprisoned by the pressure, which was equivalent to a fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. How could she let go of such a good opportunity? However, dreams were beautiful, but reality was cruel. Just as she approached, Qin Feiyang suddenly turned his head and grinned at her. "You can still move?" The young woman was shocked. The old family head, the Ming family lord, and the three leaders were all in disbelief. "It's normal for women to be ambitious, but your mistake is that you shouldn't have used me to get to the top." Qin Feiyang pointed his finger, and the battle aura was like a rainbow, directly entering the young woman's forehead. Ah! Accompanied by a shrill scream, the young woman fell to the ground and died. "How dare you kill my Ming family?" The old family head was burning with anger. He stepped in front of Qin Feiyang, and the battle aura in his old hand surged as he slapped Qin Feiyang's head. "People of the Ming family, just wait to wail." Qin Feiyang roared and instantly disappeared without a trace. The roar spread in all directions, echoing in the sky above White Fox City for a long time. At this moment, as long as it was a member of the Ming family, they could not help but panic. He can really disappear into thin air. In the hall on the second floor, the three leaders looked at the place where Qin Feiyang disappeared, and their eyes almost popped out. The old family head's expression was the most interesting. On the one hand, he was shocked. On the other hand, Qin Feiyang slipped away under his nose, which was tantamount to slapping him hard in the face. "Father, don't worry. He can't move. As long as we stay here, he'll come out sooner or later." Seeing that the old family head was on the verge of exploding in anger, the Ming family lord hurriedly comforted him. "Unable to move? Good, very good. You go and pacify the people. This old man will wait here personally." The elderly head stared blankly for a moment before bursting into laughter. Naive. At this moment, a cold laugh rang out. Qin Feiyang appeared in front of the old patriarch out of thin air. He was holding a person in his hand. It was Meng Tong. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang grabbed Meng Tong's neck and hurriedly took a few steps back before the elderly master and Meng Tong could react. "Tong, let her go." When they came to their senses, their expressions changed and they shouted at the same time. "My patience is limited. Give me the coordinates immediately, or I'll kill her." Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with killing intent. "How dare you?" The old family head roared. "I even dared to rob the storehouse, not to mention killing someone." Qin Feiyang sneered. The elderly master and Meng Tong were speechless. That's right. Not only did he rob the storehouse, but he also wreaked havoc in the city lord's mansion. Why would he care about a life? This person was simply a lawless master. Ming family lord said angrily, "Using a woman as a shield. Are you still a man? Don't make it sound so dignified. One of you is a 3-star combat emperor, while the other is a 1-star combat emperor. How dare you shamelessly attack me, a 5-star combat king? In terms of shamelessness, I'm no match for you. I'm just giving you a taste of your own medicine." Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with mockery. The three leaders looked at each other with a hint of mockery in their eyes. The Ming family used their power to bully others. This was nothing new. Seeing the Ming family being humiliated, they felt quite satisfied. The elderly master and Ming Tong were silent. Qin Feiyang sneered. "Nothing to say? How about this? Send a few 5-star combat kings to have a fair fight with me. If I lose, you can do whatever you want with me. But if I win, you have to tell me the coordinates. What do you think?" Qin Feiyang asked. The elderly master and Ming Tong were so angry that smoke was coming out of their heads. Even a 9-star combat king was no match for this man. Now, he wanted them to send a 5-star combat king to have a fair fight? Wasn't he trying to embarrass the Ming family? "Can't I? Then just send a 9-star combat king." "Well, I'm a reasonable person. I'm easy to talk to," Qin Feiyang said with a smile. The three leaders' faces twitched. Is this what you call being reasonable? This is easy to talk to? To hell with it. You want a fair fight, right? Fine. I'll fulfill your wish. I'll suppress my cultivation to 9-star combat king and fight with you. Meng family lord took a step forward and looked at Qin Fei Yang provocatively. Seeing this, the three leaders couldn't help but shake their heads. As a 1-star combat emperor, challenging a junior who was only a 5-star combat king was already embarrassing enough. However, Meng family lord actually said that he would suppress his cultivation to 9-star combat king. Didn't he find it embarrassing? Even if he wanted to suppress his cultivation, he should have suppressed it to 5-star combat king, the same cultivation level as Qin Fei Yang. Only then would it be fair. The elderly master also frowned. Obviously, he was very dissatisfied with Meng family lord's reckless behavior. However, he had no other choice now. This was because the other 9-star battle monarchs were simply no match for Qin Fei Yang. However, Qin Fei Yang was not stupid. If the Meng family lord suddenly regained his peak strength during the fight, wouldn't he die? Anyway, he couldn't accept such a ridiculous challenge. It seems that we can't reach an agreement. Then we'll follow the original plan and use the coordinates to exchange for Meng Tong's life, Qin Fei Yang said. The Meng family lord looked at the unconscious Meng Tong, his eyes full of struggle. A moment later, he looked at the white-haired old man and growled, "Father, give him the coordinates." The elderly master said, "We can't give it to him unless he returns all the treasures to us." "But what about Tong? She's your granddaughter. You can't leave her in the lurch." The Meng family lord said anxiously. "I know. I don't need you to remind me," the elderly master said angrily. He was already very annoyed. The Meng family lord's words were undoubtedly adding fuel to the fire. Qin Fei Yang glanced at the father and son and said with a faint smile, "I'll give you 3 breaths." 3 breaths. The Meng family lord's body trembled. He turned his head and looked at the elderly master pleadingly. However, the elderly master ignored him and even closed his eyes. 3 breaths passed quickly. Suddenly, the elderly master opened his eyes. 2 cold lights burst out from his eyes. He pointed his finger without hesitation. Whoosh! 6 murderous battle cheese shot toward Qin Fei Yang and Meng Tong like lightning. What? The 3 leaders' eyes widened in anger. The elderly master was going to sacrifice his granddaughter. "Father." "No." The Meng family lord's expression changed abruptly. He hurriedly cried out, but it was too late. Puff. The 6 battle cheese were like sharp arrows. They sank into Meng Tong's body. Instantly, blood splattered across the sky. Ah! The heart-wrenching pain woke her up. She immediately let out a shrill scream. At the same time, Qin Fei Yang also felt a strong sense of danger. All the hair on his body stood on end. Driven by instinct, he quickly abandoned Meng Tong and entered the ancient castle. In the blink of an eye, the moment he entered the ancient castle, the 6 battle cheese swept out from Meng Tong's back and blasted forward. If it had been a little later, he would have definitely died on the spot. Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang, the trading pavilion collapsed. The trading pavilion has also collapsed. The people on the streets were all in a daze. Could it be that even the elderly master could not do anything to Qin Fei Yang? Boom! Soon after, 5 figures rushed out from the ruins. They were the 3 leaders, the elderly master, and the Meng family lord. The Meng family lord was still holding Meng Tong. However, at this moment, they were all covered in dust and looked extremely miserable. As soon as they came out, the Meng family lord roared, "Father, you're too cruel to even kill your own granddaughter." "Shut up. Look at Tong's condition first before you blame me." The elderly master shouted coldly and scanned his surroundings, looking for Qin Fei Yang. The Meng family lord was stunned. He lowered his head and looked at Meng Tong. His eyes immediately lit up. Although the 6 battle cheese had pierced through Meng Tong's body, none of them were fatal. Moreover, his breathing and heartbeat were still there. As long as he took a healing pill in time and recuperated for a few months, he would be as good as new. It was only now that the 3 leaders realized what was going on. It turned out that the elderly master did not really want to kill his granddaughter. He just wanted to save her. However, this method was a little extreme. If he was not careful and injured his heart and Sea of Qi, Meng Tong's life would be over. The Meng family lord took out a healing pill and put it in Meng Tong's mouth. He asked, "Father, have you found them?" The elderly master shook his head. The Meng family lord said in a low voice, "They must be hiding." The elderly master said, "Don't worry about this. Take Tong back to recuperate first." Okay. The Meng family lord nodded. He turned around and flew into the city lord's mansion, disappearing from the main hall. The elderly master looked at the three leaders and asked, "Can the three of you do this old man a favor?" Old man Snakeskin smiled sinisterly. "Tell us first." The elderly master said, "Use your battle cheese to seal off White Fox City. Don't let Qin Feiyang escape." The burly man frowned and said, "Doing this will consume a lot of battle cheese. What benefits will we get?" The elderly master said, "After this matter is done, I will give each of you 100,000 battle chi pills." Deal. The three leaders' eyes lit up. They did not even hesitate and nodded in agreement. The elderly master said, "Then let's begin." The three leaders rose into the air and stood in a tripartite formation high in the sky. Boom. The next moment, their bodies shook, and their battle chi gushed out in all directions like tidewater. In less than 10 breaths, a huge barrier formed and fell with a loud bang, enveloping the entire White Fox City. The elderly master glanced at the barrier and rushed into the sky, looking down at the huge city. From now on, no one is allowed to leave White Fox City. Once found, kill without mercy. His voice was like a bell, and everyone could hear it clearly, including Qin Feiyang in the castle. It seems that the Meng family is prepared to fight to the death with us. The pangolin was a little worried. What are you afraid of? Since they want to play, then we'll play with them. I'd like to see who will regret it in the end. Wolf King's eyes were full of disdain. Qin Feiyang glanced at Wolf King, and his eyes flashed. Swish. With a thought, he appeared in the ruins and looked up at the three leaders. Three leaders, have you never thought about why the elderly master is the only alchemist in this area? Chapter 371. Hearing this, the three leaders couldn't help but be stunned. At the same time, the elderly patriarch also heard it. Damn it! He cursed in his heart. With a wave of his big hand, his battle chi condensed into a giant hand that covered the sky and slammed down on the ruins below. Boom! With a loud bang, the ruins were reduced to ashes, and a huge, deep pit appeared. The aura spread in all directions. The crowd on the streets on all sides were sent flying, and screams were endless. Some people even died on the spot. Is he dead? The elderly patriarch waved his hand, and a strong wind whistled, blowing away the dust and smoke. Then, he glanced at the deep pit, his expression uncertain. Whoosh! Suddenly, a white figure appeared out of thin air in the deep pit. Who else could it be but Qin Feiyang? Why is he still alive? The elderly patriarch's eyes widened in anger. Qin Feiyang glanced at him, then looked at the three leaders and said, "Do you want to know the truth?" "What truth?" the burly man asked. "Don't listen to his nonsense. He's trying to sow discord between us." The elderly patriarch shouted, and then swooped down toward the deep pit, his eyes filled with murderous intent. He couldn't care less about the treasures now. He just wanted to kill Qin Feiyang to silence him. There are no alchemists in this area, and it has a lot to do with the Meng family. After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he disappeared again. "Bastard, get out here." The elderly patriarch flew into a rage and crazily bombarded the deep pit. Inside the ancient castle. "Little Qinzi, didn't you say that it's useless to tell them? Why are you telling them now?" Wolf King was puzzled. The past is the past, and the present is the present. Before this, I never thought of wiping them out. But now, I want the Meng family to disappear completely. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with a cold light. The pangolin's eyes trembled. This fierce man really couldn't be provoked. Outside, the three leaders stood in the air, all looking surprised. How could it be related to the Meng family? Could it be that there was some unspeakable secret hidden within? Old clan master sensed their expressions and hurriedly flew up into the sky. He said angrily, "This person has sinister intentions. The three of you must not listen to his nonsense." But before he could finish, Qin Feiyang's voice sounded again. In order to stabilize the Ming family's position in this area, they despicably assassinated other alchemists. Old man, in terms of viciousness, I can't even compare to 1/10 of you. He saw Qin Feiyang standing in the deep pit with a mocking smile on his face. What? The three leaders were startled, and their eyes flickered. Little bastard, don't talk nonsense. The old family head roared. You know very well whether or not I'm spouting nonsense. Leaders, if you don't believe me, you can capture someone from the Ming clan and interrogate them. Qin Feiyang said with a smile. You little brat who spouts nonsense, this old man will tear you to pieces. The old family head's killing intent soared to the heavens. Wait. But at this moment, the snakeskin old man spoke in a hoarse voice. The old family head was slightly stunned. He looked at the three of them and said in a deep voice, Do you really believe him? This matter is of great importance. We have to interrogate him first. The old woman with a walking stick said, If we confirm that he is lying, we will kill him ourselves. The burly man followed. Whoosh! The three leaders swooped down and landed in front of Qin Feiyang. The battle chi barrier that sealed off White Fox City also collapsed on its own. What should we do? The old family head was anxious. Suddenly, his old eyes flashed and he said, This old man will also listen to how you make up nonsense. Actually, he wanted to take this opportunity to get close to Qin Feiyang and kill him. However, he had obviously underestimated Qin Feiyang's intelligence. Qin Feiyang looked up and said with a smile, Old clan master, don't come down. I will be scared away by you. These words were actually meant for the ears of the three leaders. He was telling the three of them that he was afraid that the old family head would kill him. If the old family head came down, he could only hide. Old clan master, you haven't done anything wrong. You're not afraid of ghosts knocking on the door. Don't come down for the time being. Don't worry, we will never wrong a good person, and we will never let a bad person go. When the three leaders said this, the old family head really couldn't go down. Because if he still went down now, it would prove that he had a guilty conscience. The burly man looked at Qin Feiyang and whispered, Young man, do you know the consequences of lying to us? Of course I know. After offending the Ming family, I can't offend your three tribes. Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. The burly man said, Well then, tell us now, what exactly is going on? I wonder if the three leaders have seen the trading pavilion selling medicinal herbs? Qin Feiyang did not answer but asked. Only the four of them could hear his voice. I saw it. Is there a problem? The three of them were puzzled. Of course there is a problem. Think about it. The old family head is the only alchemist in this area. Why would the trading pavilion sell medicinal herbs? Doesn't he know that the price of a finished grade pill is several times that of medicinal herbs? Qin Feiyang said. The three of them frowned. Qin Feiyang continued, These medicinal herbs on the surface are for sale in the trading pavilion. But in fact, the old woman urged, Tell us, in fact what? After hearing it, don't overreact. In fact, the trading pavilion is used to lure alchemists to buy. Once someone buys medicinal herbs, the Ming family will immediately find an opportunity to assassinate them. Qin Feiyang said. What? The three of them were shocked. If Qin Feiyang had not told them in advance not to overreact, they would have jumped up on the spot. The burly man asked, Little brother, are you sure this is true? Before, he called Qin Feiyang young man, but now he called him little brother. From this subtle change, it could be seen that he already believed Qin Feiyang's words. It's absolutely true. Qin Feiyang nodded. The three leaders' eyes darkened. When the Ming family first came to this area, their three tribes actually had alchemists. But soon after, they died one after another. Some died in battle, while others died in accidents. And later, many alchemists were born. The result was without exception, all of them died young. But because the Ming family did it too perfectly, leaving no trace, the people of the three tribes had never suspected the Ming family. If it weren't for Qin Feiyang telling the truth today, they would have been kept in the dark. However, although they knew the truth, they couldn't help but hesitate at this moment. Qin Feiyang glanced at the three and said, "I know what you are hesitating about." The three frowned. "You are just worried that after the Ming family is eliminated, there will be no one in this area to refine pills. But I can tell you that you don't have to worry at all, because I am an alchemist," Qin Feiyang said. "You?" The three looked at him suspiciously. "If I'm not an alchemist, why would I rob those herbs?" Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. The burly man asked, "You mean, after the Ming family is eliminated, you will help us refine pills?" "I don't have that much time, but I can help you train an alchemist. But you need to find a way to refine the alchemy fire yourself. And as a condition, destroy the Ming family immediately," Qin Feiyang said. Old Man Snakeskin said, "Don't worry about the alchemy fire. Our three tribes have it, but we don't have the pill formulas and herbs. They all have alchemy fire?" Qin Feiyang was stunned, and his heart was in disbelief. One had to know. In the spiritual state, except for the Holy Palace, it was difficult to find alchemy fire. But in the Forgotten Land, not only the old master had alchemy fire, but also the three tribes. Could it be that alchemy fire had spread all over the streets here? No. It made sense that they didn't have the pill formulas. After all, every alchemist would carry the pill formulas with them. When a person was about to die, the pill formulas would naturally fall into the hands of others, or shatter and disappear along with the Chinkuan bag. But without herbs, it didn't make sense. Qin Feiyang asked, "Your three tribes should be big tribes. How can you not have herbs?" "We originally accumulated a lot of herbs. But every time we buy pills from the Ming family, we give priority to using herbs. The value of the herbs is not enough, so we use gold coins to make up for it," the old woman said. Qin Feiyang asked, "Then you don't find it strange? Why did the Ming family do this?" "Generally speaking, they directly used gold coins to buy pills. Who would use herbs to trade? The old master is an alchemist, so it's normal for him to want herbs. And our three tribes don't have alchemists, so there's no use in keeping the herbs. So, every time the Ming family asked us to use herbs to trade, we didn't refuse. Even in the past, we have always been grateful to him." The burly old man sighed. Only at this moment did they understand that the Ming family's actions were actually to cut off the retreat of their three tribes. The Ming clan was truly despicable. "Little brother, how about this? Give us the pill formulas, and we will immediately join forces to eradicate the Ming family. As for the herbs, there's no need to trouble you. We'll slowly buy them ourselves," the three leaders suggested. This, Qin Feiyang hesitated for a moment and said, "I don't know many pill formulas." The burly man said, "It's fine, as long as there are healing pill, body tempering pill, chi gathering pill, and battle chi pill. These medicinal pills were often used." Qin Feiyang said, "I do have these pill formulas." The burly man said, "All right, then it's decided. Now, we'll have to trouble little brother to act out a play with us. I'm the best at acting, but are you guys confident?" Qin Feiyang said in a low voice, his eyes flashing. "Of course we are confident. We are all three-star war emperor. If we launch a sneak attack, we can guarantee that we can kill them in one strike," the burly man said confidently. Next, the four of them slowly darkened their faces and began to argue. And the more they argued, the fiercer they became. "Little bastard, you don't have any evidence. What are you talking about?" Suddenly, the burly man shouted. His palm struck Qin Feiyang's chest like lightning. Qin Feiyang screamed and smashed into the ground behind him, spitting out blood. In fact, the burly man's strength was not great, at most 1/10 of it. But even if it was only 1/10, it wasn't something that Qin Feiyang could bear. He climbed up in a sorry state, the blood and qi in his body surging. He glared at the three of them and said angrily, "I'm telling the truth. Why don't you believe me? You're still spouting nonsense. You're really courting death." The burly man's eyes were filled with killing intent, and he threw another punch at Qin Feiyang. "Young man, don't waste your time. You're just trying to sow discord between us and the Ming family. Unfortunately, your trick has been seen through by us. At the same time, the old woman and old man snakeskin had a mocking look in their eyes. Trick? I promise you'll regret it. Qin Feiyong was so angry that he laughed and disappeared without a trace. Little bastard, don't hide if you have the guts. The burly man's punch missed and he couldn't help but roar. Seeing this, Chapter 372. Inside the castle, Fatso said, Boss, you'd better be careful. Those three old things shouldn't be good people either. Qin Feiyong nodded and threw down a top-grade healing pill. From the previous conversation, he could already tell that the three of them were all old foxes. Indeed, he had to be careful. Outside, the old patriarch landed in the deep pit and said with a smile, The three of you, please calm down. As long as we work together, it won't be difficult to get rid of this kid. The burly man turned to look at him and said, He's always hiding like this. How can we get rid of him? Keep wasting time like this? He can hide for a while, but he can't hide forever. Sooner or later, he will come out. How about this? After this matter is done, this old man will give each of you 200,000 battle chi pills. The old patriarch laughed. The three leaders looked at each other, and their faces were full of smiles. They cupped their hands and said, Thank you, old patriarch. After saying that, they quietly moved closer to the old patriarch. The old patriarch smiled and said, We're all on the same side. Why are you so polite? Besides, the one who should thank you should be me. Haha, the three of them laughed out loud. But suddenly, the three of them attacked at the same time, their battle chi surging. The burly man suddenly punched him in the chest. The old woman and old man snakeskin also slapped him on the back. Ah! The old patriarch immediately screamed, blood spurting out of his mouth. This sudden turn of events left the old patriarch completely dumbfounded. The burly man sneered and took the opportunity to punch the old patriarch's head. Boom! Accompanied by a loud crack, the old patriarch's head suddenly burst and blood spurted out. The old patriarch didn't even understand what was going on before he died. With a bang, he fell into a pool of blood. Swish! The next moment, Qin Feiyong appeared out of thin air, looked at the old patriarch's corpse, and said with a smile, The three of you are really good. The old woman chuckled and said meaningfully, Little brother, you have to keep your word. Of course, Qin Feiyong said. Old patriarch. A group of guards stood above the deep pit, their eyes filled with disbelief. They heard the old patriarch scream and wanted to come over to see what was going on. However, he didn't expect that. The old patriarch was actually dead. Hurry up. Go and report to the patriarch that Qin Feiyong has joined forces with the three leaders. After regaining their senses, the guards turned around and ran towards the city lord's mansion. Qin Feiyong's eyes were filled with killing intent as he said, I'll have to trouble the three of you to go to the city lord's mansion and get rid of the Meng family lord. The old woman asked, What about you? Qin Feiyong said, I'm going to clean up the remaining evil in the city. The old woman smiled and said, I don't think that's a good idea. It's better that I go and clean up the remaining evil. You go with the two of them to the city lord's mansion. You don't believe me? Qin Feiyong frowned. Old man Shipai laughed sinisterly. You are too cunning. We have to be on our guard. Qin Feiyong glanced at the three of them and nodded. All right, I'll listen to you. Let's go then. Old man Shipai waved his hand and swept up Qin Feiyong, flying out of the pit and towards the city lord's mansion. The burly man was also preparing to fly out of the pit. The old woman grabbed him and whispered, All the treasures of the trading pavilion are on him. Don't let him slip away. I understand. The burly man nodded. Whoosh! The two of them flew out of the pit at the same time. The burly man immediately chased after Qin Feiyong and old man Shipai. The old woman soared into the sky alone, looking down at White Fox City with a crazed look in her eyes. The Meng family's people were scattered in every corner of White Fox City. It was too troublesome to find them one by one. She might as well destroy the city and kill everyone. Go to hell, she laughed sinisterly, stretching out her arm and pointing her index finger in the air. A burst of battle chi shot out and blasted into the city below. Rumble. Accompanied by an earth-shattering explosion, several hundred meters of land was razed to the ground. Everyone died tragically. Qin Feiyang and the other two had already entered the city lord's mansion. Everyone they encountered was mercilessly killed by Old Man Shi Pai and the burly man. Not a single person was left alive. Wherever they passed, cold corpses were left behind. The void was filled with a bloody mist, and the smell of blood was pungent. Hearing the explosion outside the city, Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows and asked, "Is she killing innocent people outside?" The burly man comforted him. "There will definitely be some innocent people who will die, but don't worry, she won't go so far as to massacre everyone in the city." "Is that so?" Qin Feiyang frowned. The burly man sneered, looking at Old Man Shi Pai and said, "You take him to the Ming family lord. I will kill everyone in the city lord's mansion." "Okay." Old Man Shi Pai nodded. "Haha, die for me." The burly man turned in the air and waved his hand. A burst of battle chi appeared and turned into countless dazzling arrows, shooting down. One by one, the guards and maids fell to the ground. Miserable screams were endless. What's going on? With such a huge commotion, how could the Ming family lord not hear it? He rushed out from the main hall, and as soon as he saw the burly man slaughtering everyone, his expression changed. Whoosh! Old Man Shi Pai and Qin Feiyang stopped in the air not far from the main hall. The Ming family lord glanced at Qin Feiyang, then looked at Old Man Shi Pai and said angrily, "Why are you doing this?" "Why?" "Qin Feiyang has already told us about your Ming family's shady business. Your Ming family even dares to scheme against our 3 tribes. You're really courting death. Today will be the end of your Ming family." Old Man Shi Pai said with a sinister smile. The Ming family lord's body trembled. His eyes turned to Qin Feiyang and said, "Little bastard, I will kill you." Qin Feiyang said, "The old family lord is dead. What do you have to kill me?" "What? Father is dead?" The Ming family lord was stunned. Right at this moment, Old Man Shi Pai pointed at the main hall. A stream of battle chi shot out from his fingertip and blasted into the main hall like lightning. Rumble. The main hall was instantly destroyed. A frightening wave of destructive energy swept out in all directions. Everything in the surroundings was crushed into powder. "Bastard! You're going against my Ming family. You're all going to die." Seeing this scene, the Ming family lord gritted his teeth. He clapped his hand in the air, and his battle chi surged, instantly turning into a giant hand that covered the sky, slapping toward Qin Feiyang and Old Man Shi Pai. "You're just an ant. How high can you jump?" Old Man Shi Pai said disdainfully. He pointed his finger in the air. A stream of battle chi went against the flow and easily shattered the giant hand. Puff! The Ming family lord spat out a mouthful of blood. Without the old master, the Ming family is just a bunch of mobs. Old Man Shi Pai's face was full of contempt. He stretched out his hand in the air, and his battle chi turned into a giant wave that covered the sky and the sun, rushing toward the Ming family lord. The Ming family lord's pupils constricted. However, he was not afraid at all. Even without the old master, the Ming family is not something people like you can offend. Right at this moment, a sullen voice sounded. Whoosh! Following that, a white figure rushed out from the dust below and landed in front of the Ming family lord. It was a middle-aged woman. She was wearing a mink fur coat, and her long black hair was tied up high, looking graceful and luxurious. In her arms, she was holding an unconscious young woman, Meng Tong. She turned around and handed Meng Tong to the Ming family lord. Then, she raised her head and looked at the roaring battle chi. Old Man Shi Pai sneered. "I was wondering who it was. So it's the wife of the Ming family lord." "She's the wife that the guards mentioned?" Qin Feiyang was surprised. When Old Man Shi Pai attacked the main hall, he had used all of his strength. But this woman was unharmed? Could she be a 3-star combat emperor? The woman lowered her head and looked at Qin Feiyang and Old Man Shi Pai, saying, "The strength of the Ming family is far beyond this." Boom! An aura suddenly erupted. At the same time, she raised her arm and pointed in the air. A dazzling battle chi pierced through the sky and collided with Old Man Shi Pai's battle chi. Boom! With a loud explosion, Old man Shipai was defeated. His battle chi was instantly destroyed, and he spurted out a mouthful of blood. So strong. Qin Feiyang's pupils constricted. He had seriously underestimated the strength of this woman. The aura she released was even stronger than the old master. Old man Shipai was also shocked and filled with disbelief. Are you surprised? The woman glanced at the two indifferently. A terrifying aura, like the eruption of a volcano, enveloped the two of them. The burly man and the old woman in the distance sensed the situation here, and their eyes were filled with bewilderment. Whoosh! The two turned into a ray of light and quickly flew over. She is a 4-star combat emperor. At this moment, old man Shipai was completely stunned by the strength of the middle-aged woman. Don't you know her? Why don't you know her strength? Qin Feiyang frowned. I have indeed met her once, but at that time, she deliberately concealed her aura. Old man Shipai was furious. He didn't expect the Meng family to be hiding such an expert. Strange. Why would she conceal her aura? Qin Feiyang mumbled to himself. What was even stranger was that when he held Meng Tong hostage in the trading pavilion, this woman didn't appear. One had to know. As a mother, she would definitely be anxious if she knew her daughter was in danger. Wasn't this person too calm? Was she not her biological daughter? The Meng family lord's eyes were cold as he said in a low voice, Madam, don't talk nonsense with them. Quickly kill them. Sky-destroying finger. The middle-aged woman raised her hand and pointed in the air. Battle chi poured out like a torrent. In an instant, it condensed into a giant finger that was more than 30 meters long. Destroy. As she spoke coldly, the giant finger trembled in the void, releasing a world-destroying aura that blasted toward Qin Feiyang and Qin Yu. Qin Feiyang, we are no match for her. Quickly take me to hide. Old man Shipai said in horror. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed as he went to the ancient castle alone. Bringing this old man into the ancient castle was like inviting a wolf into the house. He wouldn't do such a stupid thing. Damn little bastard. Old man Shipai cursed angrily. Without any hesitation, he turned around and began to flee. At this moment, the old woman and the burly man rushed over. When he saw the huge finger and the middle-aged woman's cultivation, his expression abruptly changed. He turned around in the air and began to flee without looking back. Help me. Her speed is much faster than us. If we don't kill her, we can't leave White Fox City alive. Chapter 373. Heard of it. The old woman and the burly man had a trace of hostility in their eyes. They turned around abruptly and rushed towards the old man. After the three of them gathered, they immediately launched a counterattack. Boom! 3 streams of battle chi surged out and transformed into 3 giant beasts that were dozens of feet long. They roared ferociously and charged towards the giant finger. However, the power of the giant finger was extremely shocking, and it actually crushed the 3 giant beasts. Then, it continued to charge towards the 3 leaders. Puff! The 3 leaders spat out a mouthful of blood. So strong. Her sky-destroying finger is actually a mid-tier battle art. After one round, the 3 of them were scared out of their wits and no longer had the courage to fight. Because the battle arts they had mastered were all low-tier battle arts. The middle-aged woman's cultivation was not only higher than theirs, but her battle arts were also better than theirs. There was no chance of winning at all. However, it was impossible to escape. There was only one way left: surrender. Meng family lord, this is our fault. Please let us go for the sake of our past relationship. Yes, yes, yes. We were instigated by that little bastard Qin Feiyang. We are willing to compensate your Meng family for their loss. The 3 of them hurriedly pleaded. The Meng family lord shouted, Can you afford to compensate for my father's death? But at this moment, the middle-aged woman waved her hand, and the giant finger collapsed with a bang. The Meng family lord frowned and said, Madam, why are you doing this? The middle-aged woman said, If we kill them, the old family head won't come back to life. It's better to leave them alive and use them for us. The Meng family lord hesitated for a moment and nodded. All right, I'll listen to madam. Thank you for not killing us, madam. The three leaders were also overjoyed and bowed to thank her. The middle-aged woman said, "From today onwards, your three tribes will join my Ming family." What? Impossible. Our three tribes are the most powerful tribes in this area. If we join your Ming family, won't we become the laughingstock of the world? Madam, please change the condition. The three leaders said. The middle-aged woman said coldly, "Die? Or join my Ming family? I'll give you 3 breaths of time to choose." 1, 2, 3. 3 breaths passed quickly, but to the three leaders, these 3 breaths were simply torture. "It seems that you have chosen death." The middle-aged woman's eyes turned cold. "Wait, we agree to merge with the Ming clan," the 3 of them hurriedly said. The middle-aged woman said, "At least you know what's good for you. Come in front of me." The 3 leaders looked at each other, their hearts filled with helplessness and anger. They flew in front of the middle-aged woman and cupped their hands. "Madam, what are your orders?" The middle-aged woman didn't say anything. She placed her hands in front of her chest and formed a seal with her fingers. Wong. Suddenly, 3 pentagrams the size of a baby's palm flew out from her hands. They were majestic and generous, emitting a kind of obscure aura. Whoosh! Following closely, the 3 pentagrams merged into the heads of the 3 chiefs. The 3 of them turned pale and shouted in anger, "What did you do to us?" "This is an enslavement seal. The enslavement seal will fuse with your bloodline. From now on, you are my slaves. You have to obey my every order unconditionally. Otherwise, I don't need to do anything. With just a thought, your bodies will explode and die." The middle-aged woman said, "What? It's actually an enslavement seal." The 3 leaders' bodies and minds trembled, their eyes filled with despair. Inside the ancient castle, Fatso asked doubtfully, "Boss, what is an enslavement seal?" "I'm not sure either." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "But from the sound of it, this enslavement seal should be a kind of battle art to control people." "What do we do now?" Wolf King asked. "A wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. Retreat first," the pangolin beast said. Qin Feiyang frowned. Originally, he wanted to use the 3 leaders to get rid of the Ming clan. However, he didn't expect that there was actually a 4-star combat emperor hidden. Now that even the 3 leaders were controlled by the Ming clan, with the strength of the few of them, there was no chance of winning. Forget it. He would listen to the pangolin beast. Anyway, he had already obtained the treasures in the warehouse, so there was no need to take any more risks. He might as well find an opportunity to leave. He took out a teleportation gate. His eyes flashed, and in the blink of an eye, he appeared outside. Immediately after, with a wave of his hand, he quickly opened the teleportation gate. Boom! However, before he could walk in, a battle chi broke through the air and smashed the teleportation gate. Swish! Following that, the middle-aged woman landed opposite Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang frowned and said, "What exactly do you want? Do you have to fight to the death?" The middle-aged woman said, "Hand over the treasures in the warehouse and become my slave, then I won't kill you." "Won't kill me?" Qin Feiyang was stunned and asked, "Why?" The middle-aged woman said, "Because you are an alchemist. My White Fox City needs an alchemist." Qin Feiyang said, "Are you so sure that I am an alchemist?" "It's not hard to guess. I heard from Meng Yiping that you only looted those medicinal herbs on the 2nd floor of the trading pavilion, but turned a blind eye to those pills. Doesn't this prove that you are an alchemist? Moreover, according to my speculation, your mental strength is not low. Otherwise, you would not have looked down on those pills," the middle-aged woman said. Meng Yiping was the name of the Meng family lord. "Amazing!" Qin Feiyang gave a thumbs up, looked at Meng Yiping and said, "You are such a smart woman. Why did you marry such an idiot? He is not worthy of you at all." Meng Yiping shouted, "Impudent! Don't be rude to my wife." Qin Feiyang was stunned. What was going on? Why was there a trace of respect between Meng Yiping's brows? Even if this woman was stronger than Meng Yiping, as a husband and wife who slept on the same bed, she should not have such an expression. Moreover, this woman also called Meng Yiping by his name. The relationship between these two was really thought-provoking. The middle-aged woman said, I will also give you 3 breaths to consider. 3 breaths? Qin Feiyang shook his head and smiled. You are quite straightforward, unlike some people who appear to be a gentleman on the surface, but secretly are despicable villains, Meng Yiping shouted. I dare you to say that again. It will be the same no matter how many times I say it. Qin Feiyang gave him a disdainful look, then looked at the middle-aged woman and said, I am sorry. Although I am weak, I am very stubborn. If you want me to be someone else's slave, I will not do it. Then I will have to kill you. As soon as the middle-aged woman finished speaking, a wave of pressure shrouded Qin Feiyang. It's useless. Although you are a little stronger than the old master, you can't imprison me with your pressure. Qin Feiyang grinned and instantly disappeared without a trace. The middle-aged woman raised her eyebrows, looked up at the 3 leaders and said, The 3 of you, come down. Whoosh! The 3 of them respectfully landed in front of her. The middle-aged woman said, The 3 of you stay here. If he escapes, I will kill you. Yes. The 3 of them bowed in response. The middle-aged woman looked at Meng Yiping and said, You should also quickly clean up the mess. Okay. Meng Yiping nodded. Swoosh. After the middle-aged woman finished speaking, she rose into the air and disappeared into a large hall not far away. Inside the ancient castle, Fatso frowned. The way this couple interacts is really strange. Qin Feiyang nodded, also a little puzzled. Lu Hong suddenly opened her eyes and said, Have you ever thought that maybe we have misunderstood and they are actually not husband and wife? That's impossible. If they are not husband and wife, why would Meng Yiping call her madam? Moreover, if they are really not husband and wife, when boss said that Meng Yiping is not worthy of her, she should have denied it. But she didn't deny it. Fatso said. Lu Hong said, Then is it possible that she wants to use Meng Yiping to hide her identity? Hide her identity? Qin Feiyang and Fatso looked at each other and frowned slightly. In addition, the title madam is not an exclusive title between husband and wife. It can also be a form of respect. For example, when manager Li Ji in Yin City called Luo Qianxue, didn't he also call her madam? Lu Hong said again. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? Her words woke them up from their dreams. Qin Feiyang and Fatso suddenly felt that the clouds and fog had dispersed, and they suddenly saw the light. When Meng Tong was held hostage by us, that woman did not show up and acted indifferent. Meng Yiping looked at her with respect. During the 2 months when we wreaked havoc in the City Lord's mansion, she did not appear once. The most important thing is that she is still hiding her strength. Based on the above traces, Fat Lord can basically conclude that they are not husband and wife. But what is this woman hiding? Fatso frowned, full of confusion. No matter what she is hiding, it has nothing to do with us. Focus on your cultivation and wait for an opportunity. If there's no other way, we'll go into seclusion here and break through to the War Emperor before we go out, Qin Feiyang said. What kind of joke is this? You can break through to the War Emperor in 5 years? I'm afraid that before you break through to the War Emperor, you will have already died from the poison, the pangolin said. Idiot. Fatso and Wolf King rolled their eyes at it. The pangolin said, Did I say something wrong? I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Wolf King glanced at it disdainfully, then lay down at the side, swallowed 2 battle chi pills, and began to sleep. Fatso also sat cross-legged on the ground and entered a state of cultivation. Qin Feiyang walked to the front of the iron box and continued to copy the 5th stroke. The 5th stroke was just a little bit away. He estimated that he would be able to copy it successfully in less than 10 days. The pangolin looked at Wolf King and Fatso, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said angrily, I say, can you guys stop keeping me in suspense? We have all opened the 3rd level of the Gate of Potential, and we also have the highest grade battle chi pill. In at most 2 years, we will all be able to step into the War Emperor. Lu Hong said with a smile, then closed his eyes and began to cultivate. Gate of Potential. The pangolin was dumbstruck. Last time in the Butterfly Valley, when the ugly old woman asked Qin Feiyang to take off his clothes, the pangolin was still unconscious. So, only now did it know that Qin Feiyang and the others had actually opened the legendary Gate of Potential. Its eyes immediately flickered. Opening the gate of potential was not an ordinary difficulty. However, Qin Feiyang, Fatso, Ruffian Wolf, and Lu Hong had all broken through the shackles and even opened the third level. This was definitely not a coincidence. Could it be that this Qin Feiyang had some treasure on him that could open the gate of potential? When it thought of this, it became extremely excited. It eagerly ran to Qin Feiyang's side and said with a flattering smile, "Brother Qin, are you free? How about we discuss it?" "Brother Qin?" Qin Feiyang's face twitched, goosebumps appeared all over his body, and he angrily said, "I'm not free. Don't disturb me." The pangolin resentfully retreated to the side. But he was unwilling. He then ran to look for Wolf King, but Wolf King ignored him, so he went to look for Fatso. Seeing that Fatso also ignored him, he went to look for Lu Hong. Lu Hong was kind enough to say that when it broke through to the 9-star Battle King, it would look for Qin Feiyang to ask for a few potential pills. It was immediately overjoyed and began to cultivate in seclusion. Chapter 374. In the blink of an eye, 8 days had passed. Qin Feiyang had finally finished the 5th stroke, and his cultivation had broken through to the 6-star Battle King realm. However, Wolf King had already stepped into the 6-star Battle King realm a few days ago. This astonishing speed made Qin Feiyang unable to help but believe that this fellow might really be a god wolf that had been taught by an expert. As for Fatso, he was still stuck at the 3-star Battle King realm, and it would take him a few more days to break through. The 3 leaders had been guarding outside, and they were unable to leave. Qin Feiyang was not in a hurry, and he continued to copy the 6th stroke. All this while, trouble had been knocking on his door, and he had not been able to cultivate properly. Therefore, he might as well take advantage of this rare opportunity to improve his strength. In a certain hall, a middle-aged woman was sitting on a praying mat with her eyes closed. Dong dong. Someone knocked on the door. "Come in." The middle-aged woman opened her eyes. The door was pushed open, and Meng Yiping walked in. He bowed and said, "Greetings, madam." The middle-aged woman asked, "How is your daughter?" Meng Yiping said, "Thank you for your concern, madam. Tonger is fine now." "What about Qin Feiyang?" the middle-aged woman asked. "He hasn't shown up yet, so he must be determined to drag this out with us." At the mention of Qin Feiyang, Meng Yiping's face was filled with hatred. The middle-aged woman frowned and asked, "Are you blaming me for not killing the 3 leaders to avenge the old master?" "I wouldn't dare." Meng Yiping hurriedly shook his head. The middle-aged woman looked at him deeply, then waved her hand and said, "You may leave. Inform me immediately if anything happens." This subordinate will take his leave. Meng Yiping cupped his hands, then turned around and left. "There's one more thing you have to pay attention to. Qin Feiyang's mind is not simple. Don't let him find out about our relationship," the middle-aged woman warned. "Understood." Meng Yiping nodded and quickly left the room, closing the door behind him. The middle-aged woman looked at the tightly shut door, and after a moment of daze, she quickly formed a seal with her hands, and an enslavement seal appeared. Next, the enslavement seal rose into the air and floated in front of her. "Everything I once had was destroyed because of you. From now on, I will use you to unify this continent and become the only emperor in this world." She looked at the enslavement seal with an indescribable light in her eyes. In the capital city of the spiritual state, in the resting room of the precious treasure pavilion, a woman in colorful clothes sat alone beside the tea table, muttering to herself. A moment later, Yin Yuanming hurriedly walked into the lounge and asked, "Pavilion master, why did you call me here in such a hurry?" The multicolor-clothed woman asked, "Have you contacted Qin Feiyang?" Yin Yuanming shook his head. "It's been so long. Why is there still no news? Is he dead?" The multicolor-clothed woman frowned. "Indeed, some people are saying that he might already be dead. But I don't believe that kid is dead. He must be fooling around somewhere." Yin Yuanming pursed his lips. Then, "Do you think we should continue to ban the Liu clan? During this period of time, old monster Liu has been bothering me every day. If it weren't for the manor head, I wouldn't have been able to hold on any longer." The multicolor-clothed woman was somewhat annoyed. Yin Yuanming pondered for a moment and said, "Let's lift it for the time being. We'll discuss it again when Qin Feiyang returns. The multicolor-clothed woman said, All right, give the order later to lift the ban on the Liu clan. All right. Yin Yuanming nodded and left with a bow. Holy Palace. Liu Yun's residence. Liu Yun sat in the pavilion with Yin Nanshan standing beside him. Liu Yun asked, Has Qin Feiyang contacted you? No. I've sent him a message every few days, but it's like a stone sinking into the sea. There's no response. Yin Nanshan's face was filled with worry. Is he really dead? Liu Yun frowned. Yin Nanshan said, That's impossible. With his abilities, no one can kill him. That might not be the case. The Liu clan and the Dong clan both want to get rid of him. I'm just worried that the old monsters of these two clans will assassinate him without anyone noticing, Liu Yun said. Yin Nanshan's heart sank. It might really be possible. Because, if someone else had sent a message to Qin Feiyang, it would have been normal for Qin Feiyang to not respond. However, with his relationship with Qin Feiyang, no matter how busy Qin Feiyang was, he would still take the time to respond and inform him that he was safe. Liu Yun said, Yin Nanshan, why don't you go outside the city and see if there are any clues? You can also go to the Liu clan and the Dong clan to sound them out. All right. Yin Nanshan nodded and transformed into a stream of light that tore through the sky. At the same time, Holy Palace, on a certain mountain peak, a beautiful figure stood in the wind. Her white clothes fluttered as her black hair danced in the wind. She was like a fairy from the 9 heavens who wanted to ride the wind. Feiyang, where did you go? She gazed at the distant horizon, her clear eyes filled with worry that could not be dispelled. She was none other than Ren Wushuang. Some people were worried about Qin Feiyang's disappearance, while others were happy. People like Xiao Hong and Dong Cheng, who had a grudge against Qin Feiyang, naturally hoped that Qin Feiyang would really die outside and never return. The Forgotten Land. Time passed day by day. Qin Feiyang was already halfway through the 6th stroke. During this period, Fatso had also broken through to become a 4-star battle monarch and was crazily trying to become a 5-star battle monarch. Seeing that everyone was improving while it remained the same, the pangolin yearned for the potential pill even more. This king must work hard. With them as my goal. No. This king must surpass them. Sooner or later, this king will ride on the back of a ruffian wolf. It secretly swore. Qin Feiyang, Master wants to talk to you. If you hear him, come out immediately. A few days later, the burly man's voice sounded in the ancient castle. However, Qin Feiyang ignored him. Tell him that there's no point in wasting time like this. The sooner he surrenders to me, the sooner he can live a carefree life. After the burly man returned to report to the middle-aged woman, the middle-aged woman snorted coldly. However, when the burly man conveyed the message to Qin Feiyang still ignored him. Time flew by. On this day, the 6th stroke was completed. Qin Feiyang's cultivation once again welcomed a breakthrough. 7-star battle monarch. He finally retracted his arm and closed the 6-word divine formula. Because the battle chi pills were almost exhausted, it was time to start refining pills. And this time, it took him a total of 50 days to complete the 6th stroke. Carefully calculating, it had been more than 4 months since he entered the Forgotten Land. Yin Nanshan and Ren Wushuang must be worried. Qin Feiyang remembered the time very clearly, because he had to take a drop of transparent liquid every other month. Including the drop he took in the Butterfly Valley, he had taken 4 drops now. Phew. He let out a long breath and turned to look at Wolf King. This bastard had already stepped into the 7-star battle monarch half a month ago. He estimated that when he refined the pills, he would break through again. Freak. Qin Feiyang muttered, threw away all distracting thoughts, and began to refine the battle chi pills. This time, he refined for more than 20 days in a row. He didn't stop until his mental strength was exhausted. In total, he refined more than 200,000 pills. On average, he could refine 1 pill every 10 breaths. Even in the entire holy sanctum, no one would dare to compare with him at this speed. Suddenly, his heart was caught off guard, and another sharp pain came. Coupled with the exhaustion of his mental strength, he directly somersaulted and fell to the ground with a bang. What's wrong? Fatso, Liu Hong, Wolf King, and the pangolin were all awakened. Qin Feiyang hurriedly took out a jade bottle and drank a drop of transparent liquid. Only then did the sharp pain disappear. This was the 5th drop, which meant that they had been in the Forgotten Land for 5 months. Phew. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath, got up, and said with a smile, "It's just the black poison acting up. It's nothing serious. There's no need to cultivate anymore." Wolf King chuckled and suddenly jumped up. And just as he got up, his aura suddenly soared and instantly rushed to the 8-star battle monarch. Sure enough, he broke through. Qin Feiyang's face twitched. The pangolin roared, "Damn, how can I live like this?" In just 5 months, Wolf King soared from the 4-star battle monarch to the 8-star battle monarch. Qin Feiyang also raised his cultivation to the 7-star battle monarch. If he didn't refine pills and didn't have those troublesome matters, he would probably be an 8-star battle monarch by now. And Fatso, boom. When it looked at Fatso, Fatso's cultivation had also broken through. He was a 5-star battle monarch. The pangolin was about to cry. When they first met, Fatso was only a 2-star battle monarch. Now, not only had he caught up with it, he had even surpassed it. A bunch of monsters. At this speed, they wouldn't need 5 years to break through to the Battle Emperor realm. "I have to work hard. I have to open the door of potential," it roared and continued to cultivate. Qin Feiyang looked at it and couldn't help but find it funny. He then looked at Fatso and Wolf King and nodded in satisfaction. After this seclusion, their overall strength had increased several times. True enough, as long as they cultivated in seclusion, their cultivation speed would soar like a rocket. He believed that it wouldn't take long for a battle emperor to be born in this small team. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang seemed to have thought of something. He glanced at the ancient castle and asked, "Where is the cluster of pill fire and pill furnace that I collected?" "They're with me." Lu Hong opened her eyes and took out a palm-sized iron box and a pill furnace from her chinkoan bag. It was looted from the old patriarch's alchemy room. At that time, Qin Feiyang directly kept it in the ancient castle. Lu Hong was afraid that the pangolin would have other ideas, so she kept it. "You're too considerate." Qin Feiyang smiled. He grabbed the iron box with one hand and the pill furnace with the other, then turned around and walked to the altar. After placing the pill furnace beside the bronze pill furnace, he opened the iron box. A wave of heat immediately surged out from the iron box. The old patriarch was dead, so the pill fire was an ownerless item. Without an owner, the pill fire would automatically recover and release its original high temperature. However, the grade of this cluster of pill fire wasn't high. The high temperature was no longer a threat to Qin Feiyang and the others. However, the iron box that contained the pill fire surprised Qin Feiyang. Although the temperature of the pill fire wasn't high, it was still easy to melt iron. However, it had been more than 2 months since the old patriarch's death. In other words, the pill fire had recovered for more than 2 months. However, the outside of the iron box couldn't feel the slightest bit of heat. There was even a cold feeling. This iron box shouldn't be an ordinary item either. Qin Feiyang grabbed the iron box and looked at it curiously, but he didn't notice. The nether devil flame floating above the bronze pill furnace was also undergoing a change. Chapter 375. Boss, look at your head. Fatso was the first to discover the change of the netherworld demonic flame. He heard about it. Wolf King and Lu Hong looked up. "What's going on?" The Wolf King's eyes widened. Qin Feiyang looked at them suspiciously. "What's the fuss?" However, when he looked up and saw the change of the netherworld demonic flame, his pupils shrank slightly. What's going on? He didn't revive the netherworld demonic flame. Whoosh! Suddenly, wisps of black flame shot toward Qin Feiyang. Rebellion? Qin Feiyang was stunned. His eyes suddenly turned cold. With a thought, the black flame disappeared into thin air. The revived netherworld demonic flame returned to normal. Wolf King came up and asked curiously, "Little Qin Zi, what's going on?" "I don't know." Qin Feiyang shook his head. He temporarily put down the iron box and stretched out his arm. The netherworld demonic flame fell into his palm. After carefully sensing for a moment, there was no change in the netherworld demonic flame. But why did it suddenly change? There must be a reason. After pondering for a moment, he simply didn't control the netherworld demonic flame. Let's see what the netherworld demonic flame wanted to do. The netherworld demonic flame that lost control, like a runaway wild horse, immediately rushed toward Qin Feiyang's left hand. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. Was it really going to rebel? However, the result was far beyond his expectations. The target of the netherworld demonic flame was not him at all. It was the cluster of alchemy fire in his left hand. The netherworld demonic flame, like a hungry wolf, rushed toward the alchemy fire. Patches of dark demonic flame spurted out and wrapped around the alchemy fire. Then, an amazing scene appeared. The netherworld demonic flame was actually swallowing the alchemy fire. That's right, it was swallowing. The alchemy fire wrapped in the demonic flame disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. On the other hand, the netherworld demonic flame was burning more and more vigorously. Qin Feiyang and the others looked at each other. After all this time, it turned out that this nether devil flame wanted to devour that cluster of pill fire? But wasn't this too inconceivable? Wolf King asked in surprise, Little Qin Zi, have you ever seen something like this in the capital? I can swear that I didn't. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Damn, you really are from the imperial capital. The pangolin had originally planned to enter seclusion in peace, but when it heard these words, it suddenly opened its eyes and looked at Qin Feiyang, its eyes shining. But at this moment, no one paid any attention to it. They were all looking at the netherworld demonic flame. A dozen breaths later, that cluster of flames completely disappeared. The revived nether devil flame finally calmed down. But at the same time, some information appeared in Qin Feiyang's mind out of nowhere. This was information about the netherworld devil flame. Qin Feiyang closed his eyes and carefully read the information. A moment later, he abruptly opened his eyes. 2 rays of bright light burst out of his eyes. What is it? Fatso and the others looked at him in surprise. Qin Feiyang said, The netherworld devil flame is a first-grade pill fire. Wolf King said, Is there something wrong with you? It's just a second-grade pill fire. Why are you so happy? Qin Feiyang said with a smile, If it was just an ordinary second-grade pill fire, of course I wouldn't be so happy. What do you mean? Wolf King was surprised. Although the netherworld devil flame is only a second-grade pill fire, it has an amazing ability. It can increase its grade by devouring other pill fires. Qin Feiyang said. The Wolf King was dumbfounded when he heard this. The grade of pill fire could be increased? Was this a joke? But it seemed that little Qin Zi never joked easily. Fatso said in surprise, How many pill fires does it need to devour? Can it devour all pill fires? Of course not. The netherworld devil flame can only devour pill fires of the same grade. Now, the netherworld devil flame is a second-grade pill fire, so it can only devour second-grade pill fires, and it needs to devour 3 second-grade pill fires to reach the third grade. Similarly, when the netherworld devil flame reaches the third grade, it needs to devour 3 third-grade pill fires to reach the fourth grade. In short, that's it, and so on. Qin Feiyang said, Damn, it's so awesome. Fatso was dumbfounded and said, If it devours a first-grade pill fire now, will there be any effect? There will be an effect, but the effect is very small and almost negligible. Only by devouring pill fires of the same grade can the effect be fully exerted, Qin Feiyang said. Awesome. Fatso looked at the netherworld devil flame with shock in his eyes. Lu Hong frowned and said, Don't blame me for dampening your enthusiasm. It's too early to be happy. Why? Wolf King didn't understand. Lu Hong said, You all know how rare pill fires are. It's unrealistic to find 3 second-grade pill fires for it to devour. Qin Feiyang and the others were stunned, and then they smiled bitterly. Lu Hong was right. Although the netherworld devil flame could be upgraded, there were too few pill fires. To upgrade it by 1 grade was harder than ascending to the sky. Fatso asked, What grade was the pill fire that it devoured just now? Qin Feiyang said, 2nd grade. That is to say, as long as it devours 2 second-grade pill fires, it can upgrade the netherworld devil flame to the 3rd grade. Fat Lord remembered that the 3 chiefs said that their tribes have pill fires, right? Let's just rob them. Maybe the Pillfires and their tribes are second-grade Pillfires, Fatso said. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up. Wolf King urged, there's no time to lose. Let's start immediately. Start my ass. Qin Feiyang's face darkened, and he gave it a slap on the head. Of course, he knew. As long as the Netherworld Devil Flame was upgraded to the 3rd grade, it would be able to refine pills with 2 pill veins. But now, even going out was a problem, let alone going to the 3 major tribes. Fatso suddenly asked, Boss, can the Netherworld Devil Flame devour Pillfires that are of a higher grade than itself? It can't. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Lu Hong asked, is the Netherworld Devil Flame a second-grade Pillfire when it's born? Yes. Qin Feiyang nodded. Lu Hong pursed her lips and smiled. It seems that Xuan still doesn't know about this ability of the Netherworld Devil Flame. Otherwise, he would have killed you. He really doesn't know. Because the Netherworld Devil Flame is very special. It needs to devour a Pillfire before it can be considered a true master. Only then will the information about the Netherworld Devil Flame appear in the mind. Let's not talk about it. Isn't that woman looking for me? I'll go out and talk to her. Qin Feiyang said. Lu Hong said, then you have to be careful. Qin Feiyang nodded, grabbed the iron box, looked at it curiously, and put it into his Qinkuan bag. Swish. The next moment, he appeared outside. You still came out. And here I was wondering how capable you were. It turns out that you're just us. The 3 chiefs' eyes were cold. Qin Feiyang laughed. I'm not that capable, but at least I didn't become someone's watchdog. Who are you talking about? Old Snake Skin's eyes were cold. Qin Feiyang said lightly, I'm talking about whoever is in front of me. Bastard. Otherwise, because of your selfishness, we wouldn't be in this situation today. Little bastard, if it weren't for the master's order, I would kill you now. The 3 of them said coldly, I'm selfish? Ridiculous. Do you really think I don't know what you're thinking? If that woman didn't appear, after the Ming family was eliminated, the next one to die would be me. Am I right? Qin Feiyang's eyes were full of mockery. The 3 chiefs' eyes were spitting fire. They couldn't wait to tear Qin Feiyang into pieces. Qin Feiyang said, don't stare at me like that. I'm not interested in you, and you're not qualified to talk to me now. Take me to see your master. Just you wait. You'll die miserably sooner or later. The 3 of them smiled coldly, surrounding Qin Feiyang in the middle, and walked toward a hall. At the entrance of the hall, there were 10 guards. When they saw Qin Feiyang coming, their eyes were full of coldness. Old Snake's skin gloated. See, the Meng family can't wait to tear you into pieces. Qin Feiyang said lightly, so what? It's better than being someone's watchdog. You're courting death. Old Man Snake's skin abruptly turned his head, staring at Qin Feiyang. Why don't you try touching me? Qin Feiyang wasn't afraid at all, looking at him provocatively. Humph. Old Snake's skin snorted, turned around and continued walking toward the hall. A short while later, the 4 of them arrived at the hall. Old Snake's skin bowed and said, Master, we've brought Qin Feiyang. Bring him up. The middle-aged woman's voice came from a room on the 2nd floor. The 3 of them brought Qin Feiyang into the hall, went upstairs, and stopped in front of a door. In the meantime, Qin Feiyang wanted to find a chance to slip away, but the 3 of them were watching him carefully, not giving him the slightest chance. Old Snake's skin said respectfully, Master, he's here. The middle-aged woman said, Come in. Old Snake's skin pushed open the door, and a lounge of about 10 feet suddenly entered Qin Feiyang's sight. The middle-aged woman was sitting at the tea table, sipping tea while looking at Qin Feiyang. Go in. The burly man pushed Qin Feiyang hard. Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows, turned to look at the 3 leaders, and a cold light flashed in the depths of his eyes. Immediately, he walked into the lounge and sat opposite the middle-aged woman casually. He didn't hold back. He directly picked up the teapot, grabbed a teacup, poured a cup of tea, tasted it, and nodded with a smile. The taste is not bad. Madam really knows how to enjoy. How dare you? Don't be rude in front of Madam. The 3 leaders shouted angrily and rushed toward Qin Feiyang aggressively. You guys step back. But at this moment, the middle-aged woman said indifferently. The three of them froze. Old Snakeskin said, "Madam, he's so rude. You should kill him." The middle-aged woman frowned and said, "I'll only say it twice. Step back?" "Yes." The three of them responded respectfully, and then glanced at Qin Feiyong with resentment, bowed, and left the lounge, and closed the door tightly. They wanted to take the opportunity to get rid of Qin Feiyong, but they didn't expect that they would be reprimanded by the middle-aged woman in the end. A little battle king was more important than the three of them? On what basis? They were not convinced. Chapter 376. In the lounge, there was dead silence. The middle-aged woman looked at Qin Feiyong with a strange light in her eyes. Breaking through to the seven-star battle king so quickly? Qin Feiyong did not say anything and continued to drink his tea. A moment later, the middle-aged woman finally broke the silence and said with a faint smile, "You are very bold. Aren't you afraid that I will poison your tea?" Qin Feiyong said indifferently, "I'm not even afraid of the black demon poison, let alone other poisons." Black demon poison? The middle-aged woman was stunned and asked, "What kind of poison is that?" Qin Feiyong did not answer. While drinking his tea, he smiled and said, "Madam, if you have something to say, just say it." The middle-aged woman pursed her lips and smiled, saying, "Become my subordinate, and I will guarantee you a lifetime of glory." Qin Feiyong was stunned. A mere four-star battle emperor dared to say such words? He looked at the middle-aged woman and said, "Just you?" The middle-aged woman asked back, "Are you looking down on me?" Qin Feiyong said, "I don't deny it, but I'm very puzzled. Why do you want me to be your subordinate? Just because I know how to refine pills? No. What I'm interested in is your brain and your talent. In just a few months, you broke through to the seven-star battle king. Your talent is unparalleled in the entire world." The middle-aged woman said, "Thank you for your compliment." Qin Feiyong smiled, nodded, and said, "Sure. Teach me the slave seal, and I will be your subordinate." The middle-aged woman's eyes flashed and she shook her head. "You should know that the battle art cannot be taught to others." "Then there's no other way. We can only announce the end of the negotiation." Qin Feiyong shrugged his shoulders. The middle-aged woman said, "Although I can't give you the slave seal, I can give you a perfect battle art." Perfect battle art. Qin Feiyong's eyes trembled, and he immediately became spirited. No, the sky-destroying finger that this person used was only an intermediate battle art. How could there be a perfect battle art? Moreover, if she really had a perfect battle art, why didn't she pass it on to the Ming family? Qin Feiyong calmed down and thought for a moment. The corner of his mouth pursed into a sneer. "Do you think I'm easy to fool? Seeing is believing, hearing is false. I'll let you experience it." The middle-aged woman flipped her hand and a jade slip appeared out of thin air. Then, she tossed it to Qin Feiyong. Qin Feiyong held it in his hand and looked at the middle-aged woman in surprise. Then, he sank his consciousness into the jade slip. A message immediately flowed into his mind. Perfect battle art, void end tactics. There were a total of 4 moves. The first style, landslide. The second style, earth splitting. The third style, splitting sky. The fourth move, ruins of end. The power of the first move was equivalent to an inferior battle technique, and so on. The power of the fourth move was equivalent to a perfect battle art. Qin Feiyong was stunned. It was actually a perfect battle art. The middle-aged woman smiled faintly. "Do you believe me now?" Swoosh. Qin Feiyong took a deep breath of air and mocked. "Aren't you afraid that I'll run away with the void end tactics if you give it to me so easily?" The middle-aged woman smiled. "You're a smart man and I believe that you won't do that. This also represents my sincerity. I like to deal with people who are sincere. However, it's definitely impossible for me to follow you. It's even more impossible for me to become your slave. However, we can work together." Qin Feiyong smiled as well. "Work together?" The middle-aged woman frowned. "I only work with people of value. Although you're talented, you're still too weak." "Value?" Qin Feiyong's eyes flickered. "If I'm wrong, you and Ming Yiping aren't husband and wife." The middle-aged woman's pupils constricted as she asked calmly, How do you know? The way you interact with Ming Yiping is truly too strange. Therefore, I started discussing with my old buddies. The final conclusion was that the Meng family is merely a pawn in your hands. Qin Feiyang said. The middle-aged woman was stunned. There was a trace of disbelief in her eyes. Looking at your expression, our conclusion should be correct. It's just that I don't understand. What exactly are you hiding? Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Haha, the middle-aged woman laughed. I was afraid that you would see through it. I even specially told Ming Yiping to be more careful in the future. But I didn't expect that you've already seen through it. Your brain is indeed not simple. The middle-aged woman was full of praise. In the end, she shook her head and said, but it's still not enough to cooperate with me. Then what do you think is enough? Also, don't just talk about my value. I also want to see your value. If your value is not as high as mine, I won't bother to cooperate with you. Qin Feiyang was furious. He turned hostile on the spot. His talent and brain, although not invincible in the world, were absolutely rare among the younger generation. But this person actually said that it was not enough? Even a clay bodhisattva had anger, let alone a person of flesh and blood. Hearing these words, the middle-aged woman could not help but be stunned. He actually dared to doubt her value? This brat really didn't know how much he was worth. She asked, how many companions do you have? Qin Feiyang said, 4. Including the pangolin beast. The middle-aged woman said, I can give each of you a perfect battle art. This is my value. Qin Feiyang's body stiffened. One for each of them? Could it be that in the Forgotten Land, perfect battle arts were so common that the streets were filled with them? Who exactly was this person? With so many perfect battle arts, her identity was definitely not simple. The middle-aged woman said again, I can even give you auxiliary perfect battle arts. Auxiliary battle arts. Qin Feiyang suddenly stood up. His eyes were filled with deep disbelief. Perfect auxiliary battle arts, even in the imperial capital, were unique. As far as he knew, only the current emperor had perfect auxiliary battle arts. Calm down. You must stay calm. Qin Feiyang returned to his seat and looked down at the jade slip in his hand. His eyes flickered. If this person really had perfect auxiliary battle arts, then her background must be very shocking. If he cooperated with her, it was undoubtedly asking a tiger for its skin, because he had no idea what this woman's motive was. However, the temptation of a perfect battle art was simply too great. There was no way to resist it. Taking a few deep breaths, Qin Feiyang raised his head and asked, why don't you give the battle arts to the Ming family? The middle-aged woman said, very simple, their value is not enough. Giving it to them is purely a waste. This was a very reasonable explanation. However, Qin Feiyang read the middle-aged woman's ambition from this. This woman must be planning a big conspiracy? Qin Feiyang said, wait a moment, I have to discuss with a few of my companions. Lend me this jade slip first. Go ahead. The middle-aged woman smiled. She was not afraid of Qin Feiyang running away, because she believed that no one could resist such a temptation. Inside the castle, you all heard what she said. What do you think? Qin Feiyang glanced at Fatso and the others. Fat Lord, take a look at the jade slip first. Fatso anxiously grabbed the jade slip and sank his mind into it. Suddenly, he revealed a face of shock. Lu Hong and Wolf King also looked at it one after another, their eyes filled with disbelief. Everyone was silent for a moment. Fatso said, Boss, cooperate with her. Qin Feiyang said worriedly, there's no problem with cooperating, but I'm afraid of getting into trouble. What are you afraid of? Have you forgotten? We are just passers-by in the Forgotten Land. As long as we get the perfect battle arts, no matter what scheme she has, it has nothing to do with us. Moreover, we can also use her power to make the 3 leaders obediently hand over the pill fire. Fatso laughed sinisterly. Qin Feiyang looked at Lu Hong and Wolf King and asked, what about you guys? Wolf King said, of course we'll cooperate. I agree too. Lu Hong nodded. The pangolin hurriedly said, hey, can you ask for my opinion? Are you looking for a sense of presence? Wolf King and Fatso looked at him unkindly. The pangolin said angrily, nonsense. I'm ignored by you guys every day. Of course I have to find a sense of presence. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, Then what do you think? Cooperate. We must cooperate. The pangolin chuckled. That's all nonsense. Wolf King glanced at him in disdain. All right, then we'll cooperate. When we get the battle arts, we'll leave immediately. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He took out a healing pill with 2 patterns, held it in his hand, and appeared in the lounge. The middle-aged woman asked, How did the discussion go? Let's see what this is first. Qin Feiyang stretched out his arm and opened his palm. The healing pill appeared in front of the middle-aged woman's eyes. What? The middle-aged woman's eyes widened. She grabbed the healing pill and looked it up and down, left and right. A pill with 2 patterns. Her eyes were filled with bewilderment as she raised her head to look at Qin Feiyang and asked, You refined this? Who else? Qin Feiyang shrugged. Good. Very good. You're qualified to cooperate with me. The middle-aged woman was overjoyed. She put down the healing pill and said, Call your companions out. Qin Feiyang's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately became vigilant. Don't worry. I won't harm them. I just want to see what their battle souls are. Then I'll know what battle arts are most suitable for them. The middle-aged woman smiled. Really? Qin Feiyang frowned. The middle-aged woman shook her head. You're really suspicious. I can swear. Qin Feiyang looked at her suspiciously. He flicked his sleeves and Fatso, Lu Hong, Wolf King, and the pangolin appeared out of thin air. The moment they appeared, they ran behind Qin Feiyang. This way, if the middle-aged woman wanted to harm them, they could hide in the castle immediately. The middle-aged woman's face twitched. Was she a demon? Did she have to be so vigilant? No wonder these little guys dared to cause trouble in White Fox City. With their temperaments, it would be difficult to catch them. She smiled faintly. Activate your battle souls, Wolf King said. Here? If the main hall collapses later, don't blame us. Let's go outside then. The middle-aged woman waved her hand and swept the 3 people and 2 beasts out of the window, landing in a garden outside. Wolf King activated his battle soul immediately. Chapter 377. What battle soul is this? The middle-aged woman raised her head and looked at the golden beast with a trace of doubt in her eyes. But she was more shocked, because the golden beast shadow gave her a very strong sense of oppression. Her eyes flashed as she lowered her head to look at Wolf King. Have you cultivated any battle arts? Wolf King was about to say no, but the middle-aged woman said again, Tell me the truth, or I don't know how to arrange it. Wolf King thought for a while and said truthfully, I have cultivated a superior slaughter battle art. The middle-aged woman nodded and said, I see. Next. Fat Lord first. Fatso took a step forward and laughed. Boss, haven't you always wanted to know Fat Lord's battle soul? Roar. Before he finished speaking, his whole body emitted a black light. Accompanied by a loud dragon roar, a huge monster appeared out of nowhere. It was a dragon. It was hundreds of meters long, and its body was covered with palm-sized scales. Its entire body was as black as ink, and the dragon's aura shook in all directions. Black Dragon. Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled. This damn Fatso had indeed activated his dragon soul, and it was an extremely rare black dragon soul. He could not help but look at Lu Hong. What battle soul did this little girl activate? Seeing Qin Feiyang looking at her, Lu Hong said with disappointment, I haven't broken through to the 1-star Battle King level, so I can't summon my battle soul. Qin Feiyang frowned. The middle-aged woman was stunned and looked at Lu Hong. You haven't broken through to the Battle King level. How can you have a battle soul? Madam, you don't know. She had already broken through to the Battle King level, but she was harmed by a villain and took the spiritual disaster pill, causing her cultivation to be crippled. Qin Feiyang sighed. I see, but you don't have to worry. Even if her cultivation is crippled, her battle soul is still there. Once her cultivation recovers, she will naturally be able to summon it. The middle-aged woman comforted her and asked, What battle soul did you activate? White Dragon, Lu Hong said. Another dragon soul? The middle-aged woman was dumbfounded. Isn't this too outrageous? 2 dragon souls actually appeared at once? Qin Feiyong was also shocked. Fatso was a black dragon soul. Lu Hong was the white dragon soul. He had a purple gold dragon soul. In other words, there were 3 dragon souls in this small team. As long as he grew up, he wouldn't have to worry about not getting his revenge. However, Qin Feiyong knew that this was all thanks to the first-generation emperor statue. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for Fatso and Luo Yunyang to activate their dragon souls. He might be able to activate other dragon souls. After all, the power of the emperor's bloodline flowed in his body. However, it was impossible for him to activate the purple gold dragon soul. Therefore, he was very grateful to the first emperor. Qin Feiyong, what fighting soul have you awakened? The middle-aged woman turned her eyes and looked at Qin Feiyong suspiciously. Fatso chuckled and said, "Boss's fighting soul is awesome. Did I ask you?" Qin Feiyong glared at him. The 9-leaf fire lotus and the crimson battle sword appeared one after another. However, he did not summon the purple gold dragon soul. He did not know if the Forgotten Land was within the great Qin Empire's borders. Hence, he did not dare to summon the purple gold dragon soul. Even so, the middle-aged woman was still shocked. He had 2 fighting souls. This young fellow was a genius. What about you? The middle-aged woman looked at the pangolin again. The pangolin suddenly became awkward. He smiled sheepishly and said, "I don't have a fighting soul. Just give me any battle technique." "You don't have one?" Qin Feiyong and the others were stunned. Isn't this fellow usually arrogant? Why doesn't he have a fighting soul? The middle-aged woman was stunned as well. She shook her head and said, "If you don't have a fighting soul, it means you're not worth nurturing." The pangolin was taken aback. He asked suspiciously, "Are you an idiot? If you're not worth nurturing, I won't give you any battle techniques. Don't you know that?" Wolf King looked at the pangolin disdainfully. A hint of schadenfreude could be seen in his eyes. "You can't do this." The pangolin panicked and shouted, "I have a fighting soul." "You do?" The others were puzzled. If the pangolin had a fighting soul, why did he say he did not have one? The middle-aged woman said, "Hurry up then. Don't waste my time." The pangolin gritted its teeth. A khaki-colored light shot into the sky. Immediately, a fighting soul appeared above its head. The others looked up curiously. They were petrified. That fighting soul was actually a fong. It was more than 10 meters long. It was slender and flat. It was khaki-colored, and its tip was pointed upward. At first glance, it looked like the tip of a sword. The pangolin looked at Qin Feiyong and the others and said, "I'm telling you, don't laugh." Haha, it would have been better if it did not say that. However, as soon as it said that, Wolf King could not help but burst out laughing. He had seen many fighting souls. However, this was his first time encountering such a strange fighting soul. No wonder the pangolin was so shy. No matter who it was, they would be too embarrassed to summon it. Qin Feiyong and the other 2 could not help but laugh as well. The fighting soul was a fong. This was indeed a strange thing. The pangolin was furious and roared. I said, "Don't laugh. Shut up, shut up." "Oh, don't be like this. It's just a strange fighting soul. We won't look down on you. After all, you're a strange one yourself. A strange couple. What a perfect match." Brother Wolf laughed strangely. "Ruffian Wolf, I'll fight you to the death." The pangolin was so angry that its eyes were red. The Fong fighting soul shook in the void and charged toward Wolf King. "I'll give it a try. What's so great about your strange fighting soul?" Wolf King's eyes flashed fiercely. His body instantly grew bigger. After breaking through to an 8-star battle monarch, his body grew another fist. He was more than 8 meters tall, like a giant. Boom. It swung its claws and slammed into the sharp fangs. The Fong fighting soul was instantly sent flying. Seeing this, Qin Feiyong and the middle-aged woman's pupils constricted. They were obviously shocked. However, they were not shocked by Wolf King's strength. Instead, they were shocked by the hardness of the Fong fighting soul. One had to know, Wolf King was an 8-star battle monarch now, and the pangolin was only a 4-star fighting soul. Wolf King's full force attack was enough to shatter the pangolin's fighting soul with a single claw. But at this moment, the Fong fighting soul was actually intact. How is this possible? Suddenly, the Wolf King cried out in alarm. Everyone looked toward him and saw that the skin on his claw was lacerated and fresh blood was flowing. What? The Fang fighting soul actually broke through Wolf King's defense? At this moment, no one could laugh anymore. Although it looked a little ridiculous, its power was too powerful. Why did you hide such a powerful fighting soul? Because you're afraid of being laughed at? Qin Feiyang frowned. The pangolin smiled embarrassedly. All right, I'm convinced. Qin Feiyang was somewhat helpless. Wolf King suddenly jumped up and said angrily, I'm not convinced. Little follower, fight me if you have the guts. No. The pangolin shook his head decisively and snorted coldly. A gentleman has his reasons. I won't accept this kind of meaningless battle. A gentleman again? Qin Feiyang's face twitched and he shouted, Enough, all of you, calm down. They were really funny. He turned to face the middle-aged woman and said, Madam, when are you going to give us the battle art? At the mention of the battle art, Wolf King and the pangolin's eyes lit up and they looked at the middle-aged woman expectantly. The middle-aged woman glanced at them, lowered her head and pondered for a moment. Suddenly, she waved her hand and 6 jade slips appeared out of thin air. So straightforward? Qin Feiyang and the others looked at each other. They thought that this woman would give them some conditions or give them some difficult problems. Unexpectedly, she took them out without hesitation. This is for you. The middle-aged woman waved her hand and a jade slip flew towards Wolf King and floated above his body. Wolf King immediately immersed his mind into the jade slip and said in surprise, Perfect auxiliary battle art. Next, the middle-aged woman waved her hand again and 2 jade slips flew towards Fatso and Lu Hong respectively. Perfect massacre battle art. The 2 of them were also wild with joy. Quick, quick, give it to me. The pangolin looked at Fatso and Wolf King, then looked at the middle-aged woman and urged impatiently. Whoosh! A jade slip flew in front of it. Perfect massacre battle art. I finally have a perfect battle art. The pangolin looked at it and immediately jumped up and down in excitement. At this moment, there were only 2 jade slips left in front of the middle-aged woman. Qin Feiyang looked at the 2 jade slips with longing in his eyes. Of these 2 jade slips, one is an auxiliary battle art and the other is a sword art. Together with the ultimate steps in your hand, I will give you 3 battle arts. After the middle-aged woman finished speaking, she waved her hand and the 2 jade slips flew towards Qin Feiyang. What? 3 battle arts? Fatso and the others were stunned. Qin Feiyang was also stunned and couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. The middle-aged woman's lips curled into a playful smile and said, What? Not satisfied? Qin Feiyang quivered and nodded, satisfied, very satisfied. As he spoke, he grabbed the 2 jade slips. What a joke. These were perfect battle arts. There wasn't one in the entire spiritual state. If he hadn't met this woman, he probably wouldn't even have been able to find one, let alone 3. Fatso and the others were envious and felt that it was unfair. Why did Qin Feiyang get 3, but they could only get 1? But they didn't dare to voice out their dissatisfaction. If they angered this woman and took all of them back, the loss would outweigh the gain. These jade slips can only be used once. After you have comprehended them thoroughly, they will automatically shatter. But before you comprehend them, Qin Feiyang, you have to refine some battle chi pills for me first. They must have 2 elixir patterns. The middle-aged woman said. Qin Feiyang was about to check the jade slips, but when he heard this, he couldn't help but frown. Why? Can't you do it? The middle-aged woman raised her eyebrows. I can definitely do it, but I need a 3rd-grade elixir fire to refine elixirs with 2 elixir patterns. And my current elixir fire is only a 2nd-grade elixir fire. Qin Feiyang said. The middle-aged woman said, Then how did you refine the healing elixir you gave me? To be honest, I used to have a 3rd-grade elixir fire, but I met a strong enemy last time and it was accidentally stolen. Qin Feiyang said helplessly. He couldn't say that he wasn't from the Forgotten Land, right? So, he could only make up an excuse. What did you say? There is someone who can take the elixir fire from your hands. The middle-aged woman was surprised. Qin Feiyang smiled awkwardly. Horses also have times when they stumble. Then you hurry up and think of a way. After the middle-aged woman finished speaking, she flew toward the main hall. Suddenly, she stopped in the void again, looked down at Qin Feiyong and asked, "When you looted the warehouse, did you see the old master's iron box in the alchemy room?" And Qin Feiyong was secretly shocked. The iron box was this woman's? He could never give it to her. Qin Feiyong shook his head and said, "I haven't been to his alchemy room, so I didn't see it." "Is that so?" the middle-aged woman asked, with an inexplicable light flashing in the depths of her eyes. And Qin Feiyong nodded and guessed, "It may be buried under the ruins, or I'll let the pangolin beast drill into the ground to look for it. No need, anyway, it's not something precious, it's fine if it's gone." Chapter 378. As soon as the middle-aged woman left, Fatso and the others burst into laughter. They thought that the middle-aged woman would become their mortal enemy. However, they didn't expect that she would give them perfect battle arts. This time, it was really a blessing in disguise. They were really lucky. Wolf King leaned over to Qin Feiyong and said sneakily, "Little Qin Zi, let's just run away now." "No hurry. That woman shouldn't be harmful to us now. Let's wait until we get the alchemy fire of the three tribes," Qin Feiyong said, his eyes shining. Wolf King urged, "Then let's hurry up. I can't be at ease if we stay here. You guys go to the castle to comprehend the battle arts first. I'll go talk to the three leaders." Qin Feiyong waved his hand and sent Fatso and the others to the castle. Then he walked towards the gate of the main hall. At the same time, his mind sank into the two jade slips. Two pieces of information suddenly flowed into his mind. The sword art was called the Guiyuan sword technique. It could condense 99 sword qi. The power of each sword qi was comparable to a perfect battle art, but it consumed a lot of battle qi. According to Qin Feiyong's estimation, the red sword qi and his qi could only condense 9 sword qi at most. The auxiliary skill was called phantom steps. It was also a perfect battle art. Every step would leave an illusion, which could confuse the opponent's eyes. In actual combat, it could play a key role. After a while, Qin Feiyong withdrew his mind and put away the three jade slips. Phantom steps, void returning technique, Guiyuan sword technique. He didn't expect to get 3 perfect battle arts on this trip. It was really like the old saying, the world was unpredictable. Originally, he still hated that ugly old woman, but now, he also had a trace of gratitude in his heart. If it weren't for the ugly old woman who forced him to come to the Forgotten Land, how could he have encountered such an opportunity? Soon, Qin Feiyong came to the front gate of the main hall. The three leaders were standing respectfully outside the gate. When the guards looked at them, their eyes were full of gloating. Cough. Qin Feiyong glanced at them and coughed dryly. Immediately, everyone raised their heads and looked at him with cold eyes. Qin Feiyong smiled faintly and said, "Now that we're on the same side, there's no need to be so hostile. Who's on your side?" The three leaders and the group of guards glared at each other. Qin Feiyong shook his head and directly ignored him. He walked up to the three leaders and said with a smile, "I would like to ask for your help." Old Man Snakeskin said sternly, "If you have something to say, then say it." Qin Feiyong said, "Go back immediately and get all of your alchemy fires." "How preposterous! How dare they have designs on our alchemy fire? Don't go too far. You want the alchemy fire? No way." The three of them angrily shouted. They were so angry that smoke was coming out of their heads. "Madam and I are partners, but you are Madam's slaves. Aren't you afraid that Madam will be angry if you talk to me like this?" Qin Feiyong joked. The old woman said, "Madam is reasonable. She will definitely not help you run amok." "I am not running amok. I want your alchemy fire to help Madam refine pills. If you don't give it to me, I can only go find Madam." Qin Feiyong laughed. "I don't believe it," the old woman said angrily. "From today onwards, Qin Feiyong is your young master. His words are equivalent to my words. Whoever dares to disobey will be killed without mercy." At this moment, the middle-aged woman's voice came from the second floor. "What? Young master?" The group of guards opened their eyes wide in anger and disbelief. Not long ago, Qin Feiyang was still Madame's enemy. However, in the blink of an eye, he had become their young master. The three leaders' faces became even uglier. They, the three-star war emperor, had been reduced to slaves. But this Qin Feiyang, who was just a battle king, was actually so valued by Madame? What was so good about this kid? Wasn't he just talented and knew how to refine pills? Besides these, what else did he have? Master, I won't accept it. The old woman shouted. If you don't accept it, then die. The middle-aged woman's cold voice came out. At this moment, the old woman's body cracked open and blood splattered everywhere, as if it was about to explode. The old woman screamed and hurriedly knelt on the ground and begged, Master, please spare my life. I was wrong. I won't dare to object anymore. Remember what you said today. If there is a next time, you will be killed without mercy. The middle-aged woman said with a bone-piercing murderous intent. After the words, the bloody wounds on the old woman's body stopped as well. Thank you, Master, for not killing me. After the old woman thanked him, she quickly swallowed a healing pill. Then, she turned around and looked at Qin Feiyang. She knelt in front of Qin Feiyang and bowed. Greetings, young master. Greetings, young master. The burly man, old man Snakeskin, and the group of guards all knelt on the ground. Young master? Qin Feiyang was stunned. He was still not used to this identity that had suddenly appeared. Cough, cough. Get up. Let bygones be bygones. Let bygones be bygones. Everyone will help and support each other in the future. Qin Feiyang smiled. Yes. Everyone bowed in response, then got up and stood respectfully to the side. Qin Feiyang said, 3 chiefs, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip. Go and come back quickly. Yes. We'll go get the alchemy fire right away. How would the 3 dare to have any objections? They hurriedly rushed into the sky and turned into a stream of light, breaking through the sky like lightning. Qin Feiyang looked calm on the surface, but he was quite nervous in his heart. If the alchemy fires of the 3 tribes were all first-grade alchemy fires, then it would be meaningless. Don't let me be happy for nothing. Amidst the endless anticipation, the 3 leaders finally returned an hour later. Whoosh! The 3 of them landed in front of Qin Feiyang and offered the alchemy fire with both hands, saying respectfully, Please accept it, young master. There was a battle chi barrier around the 3 alchemy fires, so they couldn't feel the slightest heat. Open the barrier. Qin Feiyang's eyes lit up.
Yes.
The 3 of them moved their minds, and the barrier instantly collapsed. A wave of scorching heat instantly surged out in all directions like a torrential flood. However, although it was hot, it was still bearable. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, sweeping up the 3 alchemy fires and entering the ancient castle. Fatso and the others were focused on comprehending the battle arts. Only Lu Hong wasn't, because she hadn't reached the Battle King level yet, so she couldn't comprehend it. I didn't expect that woman to make you the young master. If you stay here, your future will be limitless. Lu Hong stood up and teased. I think so too. Qin Feiyang smiled. Did you notice that that woman is exactly the same as you used to be? Lu Hong said. Did I? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. Look, back in the county of Yin, perfect battle arts were priceless, but you casually threw out several of them. Now, that woman also casually waved several perfect battle arts. So I guess that her status is probably not lower than yours. Lu Hong said, Now that you mention it, I do feel a little similar to her. Qin Feiyang smiled, cut his wrist, and began to drip blood to recognize him as the master. With the experience of the Nether Devil Flame recognizing him as its master, he knew what to do. Soon, the recognition was successful. The information of the 3 alchemy fires also flowed into his mind. How is it? Lu Hong asked. There's only 1 second-grade alchemy fire. He waved his hand, and the second-grade alchemy fire flew toward the Nether Devil Flame. The Nether Devil Flame also awakened on its own and began to devour the alchemy fire. The remaining 2 alchemy fires were undoubtedly first-grade alchemy fires. Lu Hong frowned. Where are we going to find alchemy fires now? You focus on your cultivation. I'll think of a way. After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, He casually threw the two first-grade alchemy fires aside and left the ancient castle, appearing in front of the three chiefs. He looked at the three chiefs and asked, "Is there any tribe nearby that has alchemy fires?" "No." The three chiefs thought for a while and shook their heads. "It seems that I have to leave." Qin Feiyang muttered secretly, his eyes flashing, and said, "Where does Meng Yiping live?" "Young master, I'll take you there." A guard took the initiative to come up and said with a flattering face, "Okay, lead the way." Qin Feiyang smiled. After a dozen breaths, the guard led Qin Feiyang to a loft. There were also 4 guards on both sides of the door of the loft. The guard who led the way shouted arrogantly, "Madam has already ordered that Qin Feiyang will be our young master from now on. Hurry up and salute." "Greetings, young master." The 4 hurriedly knelt down and kowtowed. In fact, even without the guards saying it, they already knew, because they all heard the middle-aged woman's order. Qin Feiyang looked at the guard and said, "You can go back. I'll go in by myself." "Yes, I'll take my leave." The guard ran away eagerly. What a bunch of snobs. Qin Feiyang's eyes were filled with disdain. He turned around and strode into the loft, entering the reception hall. The reception hall was empty, but soon, accompanied by a series of footsteps, Meng Yiping came down from the 2nd floor. "What are you doing here? Don't think that you can order me around just because you're the young master now. Let me tell you, I'm still in charge of the Meng family." Meng Yiping frowned and said in a deep voice, "Can you make the decision? Madam has already said that you two are not husband and wife, so don't pretend in front of me." Qin Feiyang laughed disdainfully. "What? You even said that?" Meng Yiping was shocked and hurriedly bowed. "Greetings, young master." "That's more like it." Qin Feiyang laughed coldly and asked, "Do you know the coordinates of the Ziyang tribe in Sky Thunder City?" "This subordinate knows." Meng Yiping nodded. "Tell me," Qin Feiyang said. Meng Yiping frowned and asked, "May I ask, young master, did you get madam's permission?" "What do you think?" Qin Feiyang sneered. Meng Yiping's eyes trembled as he hurriedly told him the coordinates of the Sky Thunder City and the Ziyang tribe. "The heavens do not disappoint those who work hard. I finally got the coordinates. Let's leave quickly." Qin Feiyang muttered and took out a teleportation gate without hesitation and quickly opened it. Then, under Meng Yiping's respectful gaze, he strode in. When the teleportation gate dissipated, Meng Yiping's face immediately twisted. Originally, he wanted to take revenge for his father, but he didn't expect Qin Feiyang to actually become the young master. "Father, your son is unfilial. I can't take revenge for you." He lowered his head and clenched his eyes tightly. His eyes were filled with pain. "That's not right." Suddenly, Meng Yiping suddenly raised his head, his eyes shining. Qin Feiyang had just become the young master. Why was he in a hurry to go to the Sky Thunder City and the Ziyang tribe? There was a problem. Chapter 379. As soon as he arrived at the entrance of the main hall, the Meng family lord looked at the 3 leaders and asked, "Did Qin Feiyang obtain madam's permission to go to Sky Thunder City and Ziyang tribe?" What did you say?" "He went to Sky Thunder Pool and Ziyang tribe?" The 3 leaders were surprised. "You don't know?" The Meng family lord frowned. "We don't know. When he was talking to madam, we weren't there. We don't know if madam agreed." The 3 leaders shook their heads. "Go and ask." A cold light flashed in the Meng family lord's eyes. The 4 of them ran up to the 2nd floor, stood at the door of the lounge, and gently knocked on the door. "Come in." The middle-aged woman's voice sounded. The 4 of them pushed the door open and walked to the tea table. They cupped their hands and said, "Greetings, madam." The middle-aged woman said, "I heard everything you said downstairs. He went to Sky Thunder City and Ziyang tribe without my permission." The 4 of them looked at each other, and a cold light flashed in their eyes. "Madam, he's too ignorant. Let us kill him." "That's right. We can't let such a person live." The 4 of them cupped their hands and said. The middle-aged woman waved her hand and said, "It doesn't matter. Let him go." The 4 of them were stunned. "A free-range person is more malleable," the middle-aged woman said with a meaningful smile. "What do you mean?" The 4 of them were puzzled. "Don't worry about it. He can't run away." As long as I want to, I can find him at any time. By the way, I'll warn you. Don't touch him again. Otherwise, I won't let you off easily. Do you understand? The middle-aged woman glanced at the four of them. Her cold eyes carried a great pressure. We understand. The four of them said respectfully, You may leave. The middle-aged woman waved her hand and said, We'll take our leave. The four of them bowed and left. You want to run away after getting the battle arts? Is there such a good thing? Grow up quickly. When you can really help me, I'll look for you. The middle-aged woman looked out of the window and muttered to herself. Her eyes flashed with a strange light. Heavy snow swirled in the air, and the cold wind was bone-chilling. Qin Feiyong appeared out of thin air on a glacier where ferocious beasts roamed. Where is this? He looked around suspiciously. Roar! When the two ferocious beasts nearby saw him, they bared their sharp fangs and pounced towards him. Qin Feiyong looked over. The strength of the two ferocious beasts was not ordinary. One of them was a 4-star battle king. The other was a 5-star battle king. Whoosh! He didn't pay any attention to it and used the wind-riding steps to rush towards an ice mountain. When the two ferocious beasts saw his speed, their eyes widened and they immediately turned to flee. The ice mountain was several hundred meters in front of them, and it was several hundred meters tall. A moment later, Qin Feiyong climbed to the top of the ice mountain and looked around. To the west, north, and south, there were endless glaciers. In the east, at the end of the glacier, there was an ancient city. However, because it was too far away, he couldn't see it clearly. After pondering for a moment, Qin Feiyong's eyes flashed slightly and he entered the ancient castle. He would think about it after he comprehended the 3 battle arts. 2 days later, Wolf King and Fatso opened their eyes one after another. The jade scroll in front of them also shattered with a crack. Wolf King said in surprise, Ah, you've comprehended it too? Nonsense, don't you know who Fat Lord is? Fatso smiled proudly and asked curiously, Brother Wolf, what's the name of your battle art? Wolf King said, Void Escape Steps. What about you? Void Escape Steps? What an old-fashioned name. Fatso's face was full of disdain. He rolled his eyes and said, Fat Lord's battle art is called Black Dragon Technique. How is it? Domineering, right? SK. Wolf King's eyes were full of disdain. You're jealous. Fatso chuckled and said, Shall we go out for a walk? Brother also had the same idea. Wolf King nodded. At this moment, Qin Feiyong also opened his eyes, and the jade scroll in his hand shattered. Void Returning Art, successfully comprehended. He looked at Fatso and Wolf King and said, You can go out, but you can't act recklessly. Wolf King laughed. Don't worry, we're just going out to practice our battle arts. Qin Feiyong really wanted to say, with the two of you, who would be at ease. But now, he didn't have the time to talk nonsense with them. With a wave of his hand, he sent Fatso and Wolf King out and continued to comprehend the Guiyuan sword art. A perfect battle art was not something that a low-grade battle art could compare to. Back then, Qin Feiyong had only comprehended the Imperial Wind Steps and the Cold Wind Palm for less than an hour. And now, the perfect battle art took an entire 2 days. If he hadn't opened the 3rd level of the Gate of Potential, no matter how talented he was, it would have taken him 2 to 3 years. For days later, when he opened his eyes again, he had already thoroughly comprehended the Guiyuan sword art and the Phantom Step. Sensing the movement, the pangolin beast opened its eyes and looked at Qin Feiyong in surprise, asking, It's all done? What do you think? Qin Feiyong stood up and laughed. It's only been 6 days. Can you guys not be so abnormal? The pangolin beast wailed. Qin Feiyong had thoroughly comprehended all 3 battle arts. And it only had 1 battle art, but until now, it had yet to enter the threshold. Now, it even had the heart to hit the wall. Staying together with this group of perverts was simply suffering. It might as well not comprehend it. Wait until it cultivated to the 9-star battle king and opened the Gate of Potential. Qin Feiyong shook his head and laughed. With a thought, he appeared on the ice peak. Glancing around, there was no sign of Wolf King and Fatso. For full days passed. He didn't know where these 2 guys went to fool around. He jumped down, landed on the glacier, and began to look for berserk beasts to practice his battle arts. Another 3 days passed. He was almost proficient in the 3 battle arts, but Wolf King and Fatso hadn't returned yet. What are they doing? Qin Feiyong finished off a berserk beast and stood at a commanding height, scanning all directions. They really don't let me be at ease. Let's go to the city over there first. Muttering to himself, Qin Feiyong used the imperial wind steps and sped towards the city in the east. Oh, whoa. Suddenly, a wolf howl faintly came from the west. Qin Feiyong raised his eyebrows, suddenly braked, turned back, and rushed towards the west. The sound was too soft, so he couldn't judge whether it was Wolf King or not. But just in case, he still planned to take a look. Oh, whoa. More than 10 breaths later, the wolf howl sounded again. This time, he heard it clearly. It was indeed Wolf King. After all, after being together for so long, he could still recognize Wolf King's howl. Sure enough, he went to cause trouble again. He was quite angry. His footsteps paused slightly, then he used the phantom steps and quickly left, leaving behind afterimages. In the distance, there was an ice valley. But at this moment, the ice valley was in ruins, and the ground was full of traces of battle. And in the center of the ice valley, Wolf King and Fatso were back to back, their bodies dripping with blood as they coldly glanced around. There were 4 middle-aged men surrounding them, blocking all their escape routes. The 4 of them were all murderous. One of them said in a deep voice, "Hand over the alchemy fire immediately, and we will spare your lives. Since you've entered our pockets, don't expect us to spit it out." Wolf King disdained. "That's right, if you dare to kill us, Fat Lord will crush the Chinkuan bag, making the alchemy fire and the bag disappear together." Fatso sneered. The 4 of their faces immediately darkened. Fatso rolled his eyes and said with a sneaky smile, "Why don't we make a deal?" "What deal?" The 4 of them frowned. Fatso said, "We'll give you some gold coins to buy your alchemy fire." "Can alchemy fire be bought with gold coins? How dare you trick us? Even if you crush the Chinkuan bag, we'll kill you." The 4 of them were furious, and at the same time, they charged towards Wolf King and Fatso. "Look, what's that?" Fatso pointed to the sky and roared. The 4 of them instinctively stopped and looked up. Fatso sent a sound transmission. "Brother Wolf, run." Wolf King waved his claws, and his battle chi surged, sweeping up Fatso. Then, he used the void step and slipped out of the encirclement, rushing towards the exit of the ice valley. Despicable bastard. We were tricked by them again. The 4 of them were so angry that they flew into the air and chased after them. They were all combat emperors. Their speed was much faster than Wolf King's, and they soon closed the distance. Fatso said in horror, "Brother Wolf, what should we do?" "Don't panic. Little Chinzi must have heard my howl and should be on the way. Let's hold on a little longer," Wolf King said in a low voice. Fatso hurriedly said, "What if the boss didn't hear us?" Wolf King said helplessly, "Then we can only pray for our own good." At this point, it was useless to return the alchemy fire to the 4 of them. "Let's see where you can run to." The 4 of them shouted and stood in front of the man and the wolf. Fatso pointed behind them and shouted, "Look, there's someone behind you." "Damn, Fatso, do you think we're stupid? Do you think we'll fall for your trick again?" The 4 of them sneered. One of them stretched out his arm and pointed in the air. 2 streams of battle chi with shocking, killing intent shot towards the man and the wolf. But this time, there really was someone. A white figure flashed into the valley like a stream of light. It was Qin Feiyong. Wolf King and Fatso looked at each other and hurriedly lay on the ground to avoid the 2 streams of battle chi. Boom! Not far behind them, a broken ice mountain was instantly razed to the ground. The fatty couldn't help but feel a lingering fear. He signaled Qin Feiyong with his eyes. Then he looked at the 4 people and begged, "Sirs, please don't kill us. We know we're wrong." One of them sneered, "It's too late to beg for mercy now." At the same time, Qin Feiyong took out the Chang Shui and silently approached one of them. However, before he got close, he was discovered by one of them. That person shouted, "Who are you? Are you their accomplice?" There really is someone. The other 3 people were shocked and turned to look at Qin Feiyong. Seeing Qin Feiyong holding a dagger in his hand, their eyes flashed with shocking, killing intent. Oh no! Fatso and Wolf King were anxious. It was not easy for them to come all the way from Iron Ox Town to this day. They could not fall here. Qin Feiyong was also burning with anxiety at this moment. He wanted to kill one of them without anyone noticing, tear open a gap, and rescue Wolf King and Fatso by surprise. Unexpectedly, he was discovered. Suddenly, an idea flashed in his mind. Seniors, you've misunderstood. I'm not their accomplice. On the contrary, they're all my enemies. I've been looking for them for a long time. Please step aside. I want to kill them with my own hands. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.